Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ugh. Hola, hola, hola. And they said, hola, hola. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Soot. That's not good. Well, I hope that you recover well. I hope you have someone to talk to make it through that. I've gone through my fair share of existential crises in my life. I so I just hope you. I hope you. I hope that everything's okay. That's what I hope. All right. Actually, that song. Well, that song I was singing is actually is a is actually an Italian song. Funny enough, I know it says "Ola" in there, but it's actually an Italian song. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the Chargers, I actually got my Chargers hat in this week. I'm super excited. I actually got a Chargers like a Chargers like I don't know. It's like a quarter zip like polo type of thing. It was really cool, but it was too small, man. I had to send it back. I sent it back yesterday and ordered the new one today. But don't you just love when like stuff like that works out? Like, so I paid I paid for this like little, it's like little like quarter zip like hoodie, right? Kind of lighter, but it's nice. Hell was that? So I paid for it. I get it. It's too small because I'm fat. All right. And what is that noise? Oh, I thought the house was about to explode. Anyways, so I return it. They don't do it. They don't do exchanges, right? So they were just like, okay, we'll give you like a gift card. We'll give you like a gift card to to for the money worth it. That's good, for you to be able to use. I was like, cool. Well, they gave me the gift card, and the hoodie that I had bought was now 30% off. Isn't that cool? So I saved 30% on the hoodie when I went to go rebuy it, which I was going to use to get another hat. That's what I was going to do. But I was like, "Hey Ari, what hat should I get? Like, what new hat should I get?" And she was like, what kind of hat you should get is me to get her a new hoodie." So that's what I ended up spending the money on instead. So the hat I bought for myself was actually not a hat, and it was actually a hoodie for for her. So yeah. Kind of shaped a little funny. No, I couldn't figure out what the sound was. Someone says a smoke. It was not a smoke detector. Okay, that would drive me nuts. What it actually was Ari pinging her phone. So, oh goodness. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Oh, I got a busy day today. Does everybody else have a busy day today? Anybody else have a busy day today? I'm busy. I got this. Then I gotta go buy shoes because you guys know I play tennis with my daughter, right? I'm about to break my ankle wearing the shoes that I'm wearing, so I got to get new shoes. So I got errands, and I got to mop my floors today. That's a big thing. But then if I do all of that stuff, well, regardless of whether I do all that stuff, it doesn't really change a thing. I get to get my tattoo finished off this evening, so that's really cool. So that's fun. That's always fun. So I'm really excited about that. Mm. Oh, that's pretty good. Someone asked about the Chargers playing tomorrow. Look, it is truly any given Sunday, right? It's truly any given Sunday. You never know who could win what game. All right. All I'm saying is good luck to Jackson Dart. That's all I gotta say. Good luck to the young man. He's lucky Khalil Mack's not playing. But I don't see how the Giants stop us offensively. And besides Malik Neighbors, I don't think anybody on the Giants offense scares me. So. Hey. Sorry, I forgot about Scatabo. Scatabo's freaking fun to watch. Scatabo's a freaking monster. I like that kid, dude. I actually got him in my dynasty league too. Scatabo's fun to watch. I forgot about Scatabo. Scatabo's cool. That's a fun football player to watch. He's just a little battering ram. Just dude runs like Forrest Gump, bro. Just straight to it. Well, anyways, y'all, welcome in. We are just getting this thing started, getting this thing moving on a beautiful Saturday morning. On a beautiful Saturday morning. I got my Dunkin' coffee. America runs on Dunkin'. I don't know if you know that. They're not a sponsor. All right, but just thought I'd let you know. But I got my coffee. I'm ready to go this morning. All right. Well, as always, I'm just waiting for a few more likes to get in on one of my accounts over here. We got about 800 left to go and knock that out, and then I'll start going to some guests and have some fun like that. Do. You guys know how I love my Dunkin'. All right. You know I love my Dunkin'. Little inside joke for y'all that little inside joke for you guys that know what the heck I'm talking about. By the way, I did get some donuts today because I was curious. Didn't tell it's very good. Thank you for asking. Hope yours is well also. I did get some donuts today because I was curious. All right. Like, I was like, I just want to look at them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see like what kind of sizing we're dealing with over here. All right. Yeah. There's like, there's not much room in the middle of those. Just that's all I'm saying. All right. There's not much room in the middle. All right. There's not much room in the middle of those. All right. I don't know how anybody is stacking. Anyways, we're about to open up these phone lines, get this thing going. All right. I couldn't try it. Okay. There's a I was going to try to find out, and I'm not joking. Okay. I purposefully was like, I'm gonna actually find out the number. Okay. And like, Ari thought I was joking until we were in the drive-thru and I ordered a dozen donuts. And she was like, oh, I thought you were joking. I was not joking at all. And like, I got them home and I was like looking at them and I was like, there's an issue that I didn't project. There's a donut girth issue. We'll call it that. All right. Anyway, phone lines are open. We'll see. I know it takes a little longer when we first get started on Saturday mornings, but phone lines are open. Thank y'all so much for being here as we get this thing moving and started this morning. French coolers may have a little more space in the middle, maybe. I was like, I might have to like, I don't know, drill out the middles or something. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, yeah, we got a little tattoo therapy going on. I just got this one done. Hell, not even a month ago. Yeah, I just got this one done. Like on September 2nd. And yeah, and so now I'm gonna get the rest of it finished off, like up through here and over here. Pretty exciting. I'm excited. Morning, everyone. Morning, everyone. What's going on, Chester, VJ, Shannon? I see you over there. How's everybody doing this morning? We're just getting this thing started. If you guys that have been watching, Heathen, I see you, Alan, Corey, of course, bud. Yeah, as you guys are, I've been starting going at 10 a.m. on Saturdays, and sometimes it takes a little bit, it takes a little bit of time to get started on Sunday morning or Saturday mornings. That's okay. Once it gets started, we have a lot of fun. So please come on in, make some noise in my chat if you wouldn't mind. Hit that follow and subscribe button if you haven't already. If you do still support Trump, I do have the guest request box open if you're on the one app that allows for that, and I also have the phone lines open too, so we can get into it and get the day started. We can get the day started. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
28.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yes.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
Hello?
What's on your mind? Do you not have reception or something?
Yeah, I do.
All right, because it's going to be a real difficult conversation if every time I say something, you say hello.
Okay.
All right. So what's on your mind?
All right. So in the last stream, you said Trump did nothing to help, and we're in the highest unemployment rate, right?
That wasn't an English sentence. Would you like to try that again?
Can you hear me?
Bro.
What?
What did you
Can
say?
you hear me?
Dude, I'm not doing this. Did you hear
Okay.
me thing the whole time? Holy shit. What did you say?
All right, you said in the last stream Trump did nothing to help, and you said we're in the highest unemployment rate, right?
No.
All
Oh,
right,
right
okay,
now
cool.
we're in the highest unemployment. We're in the highest unemployment rate since COVID. Yeah, right now.
Okay. All right, so you said we're in the highest unemployment rate right now since COVID, right?
Correct.
So the Federal Reserve September 2025 summary of economic projections shows the US unemployment rate is 4.5%, with a projected decline to 4.3% by 2027. And during the COVID-19 peak in April 2020, unemployment reached 14.8%, the highest level since the Great Depression.
All of those are correct. What is your issue?
So we are not in the highest unemployment rate right now. The current is
Sir,
4.5% is far below. Don't cut me off.
No,
Don't cut me
because
off.
you're
Don't cut me off. Don't
sir,
cut me off.
I
Don't
will
cut me off.
cut you off from this phone call if you don't shut the hell
We
up.
are not in the highest unemployment rate.
Sir, I
The current
specifically
4.5% is far
said,
below the.
sir, what I said was, for the third time, which is why I asked if you had reception, is I said we are in the highest unemployment rate since COVID. The highest
How?
unemployment rate since COVID. So you're saying,
How?
yes, can I explain?
COVID was higher.
Sir,
COVID was higher than right now.
That's
what do you mean?
what I'm saying.
What are you talking about? You said since COVID, right? So COVID was higher.
Correct.
You said we're in the highest.
Since COVID.
How is this the highest?
Oh my God. This dude
right now.
This dude is literally it's too early
You
in the
said
morning
we're
for
the
this.
highest unemployment rate right now.
This dude is too early in the morning to not have people that understand the English language.
Bro, okay. All right, let me talk about the second claim.
No, we're not talking about the second claim. No.
Yes.
No.
Oh my God.
All right.
It'll be quick.
No.
Oh, you're scared. Okay.
Oh, you think I'm scared?
Yeah.
Ah! Okay. All right, we're going to reopen up the phone lines, keep this thing going. Really appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much. Oh, if you tell me that I'm scared, then I'm just going to yell and scream and scared, and then I'm going to hang up the phone. If you're going to tell me you think I'm scared, then I'm just going to be scared and I'm just going to leave. Guys, I know that you guys think, because you guys are children, that being like, oh, you're scared is going to make me want to talk to you about something more. But the second you tell me I'm scared, I will hang up the phone on you. Because I'm scared. I can't handle it. So I have to do it.
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I am 17 years old.
Sorry, you got to be at least 18 to be on the live. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Guys, it does not faze me at all. I'll just move on. Hello, how are you?
Hey, stupid son of a bitch. You are scared. You wouldn't let that other guy talk. You're a piece of shit liberal. You don't want to talk facts. You just talk over the other guy. You're a fucking piece of shit.
All right. Well, it is weird to start drinking this early on a Saturday, but I guess to each their own. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Awesome. How old are you?
Hmm?
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Sort of. It really just depends. Like, I don't know if you saw his UN address or whatnot, and he went off on the UN. That I do support. However, in his speech, he was talking about, how this is the golden age, the golden era of America and whatnot, right? I'm a single dad. I have, fortunately, just one kid. And I don't know about you, but fucking groceries haven't really dropped too much. Gas has dropped some. But I mean, that's kind of a moot point if you drive as much as I do. It's just a give and take, man.
Well, the grocery prices are up across the board. Gas prices,
grocery prices aren't up.
they are.
Like, so I have.
Hold on.
receipts,
Oh, you said a whole
like,
bunch of stuff.
for
I'm
3 years.
responding. Sorry, you said a whole bunch of stuff. I'm
Okay, no,
responding.
that's
Let me
fair.
respond. So,
Go
like you
ahead.
said, grocery prices are not going down. The grocery prices aren't going to go down. Donald Trump even said that before he even took office. Okay, that whole promise of him lowering grocery prices before he even took office, he's like, I actually looked into it, and it's actually going to be very, very difficult to lower grocery prices. Exactly, because you can't do that. But Donald Trump doesn't care about that when he campaigns. He just says whatever you think he thinks you want to hear, even though it's not feasible. Gas prices are down, but gas prices aren't really a presidential stat because the worldwide price, the price of oil per barrel is set by OPEC, not by the United States government. So unless we do something to influence OPEC,
that depends heavily on the contract negotiations. Because if you knew anything about the oil industry or gas,
are you going to let me finish my response?
No, not really. You can hang up if you want. That's fine. I expect you to do that. But
well, I'm willing to have a conversation, sir, but I let you say your entire first point, and I'm just trying to respond to the things that you're saying, and you seem to have a very difficult problem letting me do that.
I seem to have a difficult problem letting you respond.
Yeah, I didn't cut you off at all. I let you say your entire point. You talked about the EUN, you talked about grocery prices, you talked about gas prices. So I was going back in that same direction. I was talking about grocery prices, and then I was going to talk about gas prices, and then I was going to talk about the UN speech in response to what you said. Then after that would be your time to respond back on what you would like to say.
No, go ahead and shoot.
Oh, okay, cool. So you don't mind?
No, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So again, what I was saying is that the price of oil per barrel is actually set by OPEC, and it's not really a presidential stat whatsoever, unless the president goes in and influences something when it comes to OPEC, or whether if he solves something that that.
Keep going. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's not really a presidential stat. But yeah, gas prices are down, and that's definitely a true thing. But regardless of any of that, the UN speech was a complete joke. He didn't go in at UN. He didn't have a teleprompter. He didn't know what he was talking about. That's why he spent most of the time just complaining about his escalator not working and his teleprompter not working. He said a whole bunch of stuff about EU and countries that didn't even make sense and wasn't even realistic whatsoever. And he's just really mad at the UN right now because they're actually putting up a good stop against Israel and the things that Israel is doing, by starving people in Gaza and Palestine like that. And Trump doesn't like that because he wants to, keep Netanyahu happy because they're like best friends, So, all right. Well, you're not unmuted yet, so can you hold on, sir? Sir, you're muted right now. So I muted you because your child was crying, so everyone didn't have to hear it. So if you could just be patient, I will unmute you, and now you can say what you were trying to say.
Okay. So on the subject of Israel and Palestine, I do not give a fuck. Truly. Okay. In fact, I would wager most people have no idea what the fuck they're talking about because that's a conflict that's been going on for like 2,000 years.
Yes, sir. My argument wasn't that you gave a shit about Israel. My argument was that Donald Trump cares about Israel, which is why he talked like he did.
Israel to an extent.
Which is why he talked about. Which is why he talked like that to the UN yesterday or the other day. That was my statement.
Did you watch the full UN speech out of curiosity?
Yes, I did. Unfortunately, that was a very difficult thing to watch. It was very difficult to watch the president of the United States embarrass our country like that.
Yes and no, man. Like this is the interesting thing about people. I consider myself an independent centrist. I did vote for Trump this last go around, but that's because Biden's economy was just provably terrible. But look at things like housing. Like Trump, when you're talking about the average regular person, really hasn't done shit. In fact, I would argue most presidents going back 4 elections haven't really done shit to help anybody. Okay, I mean, look at what Obama did. Look at what Trump did in his first term. Look at what Biden did in his term. And what's crazy is Obama's first term was actually slightly better than the second term, but nobody wants to talk about that. my concern is not like everybody wants to have a hard on for Trump and the things that he's saying and doing. And it's just like, look, man, I get that. I understand that. My generation is going to be the one that has to rebuild the country. Literally. Like the tradesmen that I work with are going to be the ones that have to rebuild everything once everything falls apart, because nobody cares about infrastructure. Nobody cares about, honestly, like proper living. Do you know how hard it is to start a business in America? Like
Sir, all right, now you're just yapping. Okay, so let's calm down
No,
here
I'm
for a
just
second.
happy. This is about the economy.
No,
And
no,
you
it's
wanted to know
not.
if I support Trump, so I'm giving you my reasons.
You literally just said that Trump's not even doing anything.
Some things I don't.
But first you said that Biden's economy was bad.
He's really not.
First of all, you said Biden's economy
was bad.
It was not.
That is provable that it was bad.
Yes, it is provable that it wasn't bad, and I can prove it with all sorts of statistics. Okay,
Oh,
but
please do.
gladly.
Please do.
But you also said,
as somebody that lived through it, please prove that it wasn't
I also
bad.
lived through it. Yeah.
No. Go ahead. Please prove that it wasn't bad.
I'm trying to, but you won't be quiet.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But second of all, you said nobody cares
talking.
Sir, you said nobody cares about infrastructure. Literally under the Biden administration, the largest infrastructure bill in the history of the entire country.
That's also a lie. That's also a lie.
Okay, how is that a lie? Okay, how can you prove to me that the
because in literally his first week in office, do you know how many jobs? Do you know anything about economics, first off, man? For real.
No, just prove to me that there was no infrastructure bill.
No, I can prove to you that the infrastructure bill that Biden wanted to put forth was nowhere near the largest infrastructure bill that this country has seen, or even in the last 20 fucking years, man.
Oh, really? Then which one was larger? Which one was larger than $1 trillion?
Probably the $17 trillion of forward investment.
The $17 trillion of forward investment
for tons of different contracts. This goes back to the thing about oil. This is how I know you don't know what you're talking about. When it comes to the price of oil, all of these companies negotiate a bulk pricing. So you can look at the price per barrel.
He doesn't want to listen. This guy just wants to yap.
Man.
Okay,
you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Forward investment is not infrastructure investment. Oh, he ran away. Wow, that was an early morning crash out. I didn't hang on. He just fucking hung up, dude. Bro, forward investment is not infrastructure investment, nor has there been that much in forward investment. None of that is that is truly the Dunning-Kruger effect, like literally in effect right there. That was wild. Y'all, please don't crash out this early in the morning. I haven't even gotten the whole coffee in yet. Heathen, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. I really appreciate that. Go big W's in the chat for Heathen for my bar tab later. Yeah, I'm probably going to need it after all of this. So thank you so much, Heathen. Big W's for that. And Miss Allie, thank you so much for the $10 super chat also. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Big W's in the chat for both of them. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
18.
Awesome. What year were you born?
2006.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Pardon me?
Do you still support Trump?
Actually, no. I just came to say I hope you have a good day, man.
You too. All right, we're going to move on to the next person. We're going to keep this thing going. I really appreciate y'all. By the way, Biden did have the largest infrastructure bill in American history. By the way, just thought I'd let you guys know. Tim, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Said, hey, Paulie, had a long week at work. Time to unwind with some MAGA tears. MAGA supporters are my least favorite people. They have no argument for anything except for you're wrong. That is very true. Big W's in chat for Tim. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. I really appreciate you. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Hello? All right. Hello, how are you? All right. Y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We do this every day but Fridays. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
18.
Awesome. What year were you born?
2006.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Kinda at the point, not really, because of what's going on with the country, but not really, but it's like a meh.
What do you mean with what's going on with the country? Explain. Expand.
So, you know how like Charlie Kirk got assassinated and all that, and how supposedly Jimmy Kimmel got shut down by the FCC, right?
Well, it's not supposedly. The FCC commissioner literally said it, but yeah.
He literally said it. Yeah. So I'm just honestly, I'm like in a pickle right now of who I should support in 2028 and why I should support that person. Because honestly, I think Bernie Sanders should run for 2028.
Bernie Sanders will be 1,800 years old in 2028.
Really? That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know exactly how old Bernie Sanders is. Too old.
Yeah.
Too old to be
But,
president. I'll tell you that much.
I don't. Yeah, but I don't know who I should support in 2028.
Well, why are you worried
right
about
now-
2028? The midterms are next year.
Well, in my state is a deep red state, so I really can't do anything about it.
Yes, you
And
can. You
my
can still
state-
vote.
I can still vote, yeah. So, like, my state is deep red. I'm in Florida, so I'm in a.
Your
I'm in a
state is not
red
deep
state.
red. I live in Florida.
Well, yeah, it's kind of confusing, but I support like his economic plan, Trump's economic plan. I support it.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me be very clear. We talked about Jimmy Kimmel being shut down, and you talked about Charlie Kirk. Okay. Let's talk about those things real quick, and then we'll talk about economics. Sound
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, that's what it
Okay.
is.
First of all, what happened to Charlie Kirk was a horrible thing, but that was not something that was done by the left. Okay. That was something done by a person. Okay. A horrible thing done by a person, but it was something done by a singular person, not something that happened with the left, with an administration, with the Democratic Party. All right.
Yeah,
On the other hand, the shutting down of Jimmy Kimmel, shutting down of Colbert, those are things that are coming directly from the Trump administration. So let's not put those two things together. Okay. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Okay. So one side is just specifically trying to take away your free speech, and they're really not trying to hide it. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay, cool. As far as economics, first of all, do you have your TV on in the background or something?
Yeah, my bad. I'm watching
Yeah.
college football.
Yeah, can you mute that or something?
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you.
Hey, man, I'm watching USC. USC better win. So
I thought
My
the USC game started at noon.
yeah, I'm trying to watch that.
Yeah, that doesn't start for another hour and 20 minutes. But anyways, what do you like about Donald Trump's economics?
How he's making all these countries with the tariffs and all that, and how we are having consumer goods come to our country, like how everyone's basically owning up to Trump for what's going on. All the cheap labor is going towards us. I'm taking a guess. That's what he said in a interview or what the hell it is that had said with Trump or what the fuck it is. My bad. I'm like stuttering. It's crazy.
You're
But
good. I don't understand what you're talking about with cheap labor. I just don't understand what you're saying.
tariffs, with the tariffs,
Mhm.
the tariffs he said he's going to put like 200% tariffs on China, and China came back and clapped back with tariffs, and then China backed down, and now they're sucking up to Trump with economic plans with the tariffs, and Canada and the EU made a deal with Trump, and they're going to be like not increasing but lowering their prices with Trump with economic trade, and Canada, same thing with Canada and Britain. And
Okay, so let's just be clear here. Okay, about 85% of what you just said is inaccurate. Okay, so about 15% was right. So let's make some corrections here. One, China raised the tariffs, or United States raised the tariffs on China. China then raised the tariffs back, and China didn't lower their tariffs back until the United States had already lowered their tariffs. Okay, so it wasn't that China lowered their tariffs so the United States lowered it. It was the other way around. Donald Trump's administration folded and backed down on tariffs, which is the reason why China backed down on theirs. So we were the weak ones there, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Canada isn't even in negotiations with the United States. Okay, so they haven't dropped anything. Actually, they have, again, increased tariffs at a significantly high rate against us, which is actually hurting the American consumers. Third of all, while the
Yeah.
EU and the UK have made trade deals of some sort, none of those trade deals actually lowered any of our prices. Actually, they increased our prices of things that are actually coming into this country. They just lowered our ability to export, like things like cars, but really that wasn't really a problem to begin with, just because American cars don't have a huge export into the places like Europe and the UK, so it's not really an issue. And actually, the UK's trade deal actually made it cheaper to import UK cars like Jaguar and stuff like that to the United States. Again, not a huge effect because again, we don't see that many like, UK cars on American roads, but that's not the point. But regardless of any of that, who pays a tariff?
Who pays the tariffs? I don't know personally. I'm not that big into that stuff, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
That's
let's
the thing.
start
I'm like,
there. Okay.
That's the thing with me. I'm just confused of what's going on with our country and how we're just like divided by two sides and how we should just all come together. That's the thing. I'm just confused at what's going on.
Okay. Well, let me be very clear about tariffs. Let's start with that. Okay. Tariffs are paid by the importer. Okay. So when Donald Trump says I'm putting a tariff on whatever country, doesn't really matter, right? Say Canada, right? When Donald Trump says I'm putting 100% tariff on Canada, which he hasn't done, I'm just making an example. All right. Then that means that when we, the Americans, get stuff from Canada, Americans have to pay 100% more. Okay.
Yeah.
Canada doesn't pay anything. All right. So
Yeah.
we're not, this isn't like they're paying all this money towards it. It's just a tax. It's literally a tax, because what happens is, unless for some reason those companies can have the margins where they can eat the cost of the tariff, which the large majority of them don't, they then have to take that cost of the tariff, then they have to pass that on to the consumer. So when you buy something from Amazon that came from Canada, Amazon doesn't have the margins to cover 100% tariff on that. So they then push that money onto you, which means that you are literally paying a tax. So I just want to let you know that every single time that Donald Trump says, hey, I put a tariff on that country, what he's really saying is he is taxing you more.
That's cool, man. Jeez, I didn't know that. And honestly, to be honest with you, I'm a first-time voter, so because I just turned 18, and now that I'm starting to get into politics, I just want to know what's the side. And my whole family's Trump. I honestly voted for Trump because of like the popular, like how he was being popular and how he got all that popular and all the podcasts and all that. But I just want to know what's going on and why like all this shit's happening. And why is there just so much hate in the world? And why is just people hating every day? And
well, sir, to be completely honest with you, have you listened to what Donald Trump says?
To be honest with you, I have, and I heard some like hateful things have said, and I am swinging my political opinion on different things. So I'm not really a Republican, but I'm more of an independent. It's just like who I choose, which is a better qualifier. And I will say I did pick Trump because Kamala, in my opinion, she didn't really get the nomination, in my opinion. I think Biden should have gotten it. But at the same time, Biden was old and he had like problems in his mental health. You can tell by the debate with him and Trump. But at the same time, the Kamala thing, they just like immediately put her in just because of her skin color.
It actually has nothing.
I think it should have been.
That's just not true, though, sir.
Well, here's the thing. When the DNC happened, they put her in, and she was like, "We're gonna win this because she's a black or whatever skin color."
Sir, that's not true.
I'm Hispanic.
Sir, that's it. Sir, you can be whatever you want. Okay, like you can be whatever race. It doesn't matter. That's just not true. Where'd you go? Well, I'm gonna answer you anyway. Hopefully, you're listening. The reason why Khamala Harris was the person that ran and why nobody ran against her had nothing to do with her race or her gender. It had to do with money. Okay? I don't know why he ran away. I thought we were having a very nice conversation. It has to do with money. That's all it had to do with. Money. She had more money. That's all. Anyways, we're going to move on to the next caller. Make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate you guys. If you all would like to support the live, I do have super chats and memberships and all that fun stuff open. If you guys send super chats, I like to put them up between callers and stuff like that. Also, I have my live gift goal and I have my pay links in my bio. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
Kamala Harris.
How are you today?
I am fine. Kamala
Awesome.
Harris
No, no, no,
was
no, no, no. Awesome. How old are you?
an adult
Cool. And how old is that?
over the age of 18.
Awesome. And how far over the age of 18 are you?
Over the age of 18. I'm an
All
adult.
right. Well, have a good day. I'm only going to ask you how old you are 3 times. If you can't answer the question, then we will move on to the next person. But if you can't come up on this live and start with a hello, how are you? Let's just, have a cordial conversation. Then I have really no will to talk to you. It's simple. Hello, how are you? I'm well. How about yourself? Awesome. How old are you? I am this age. Beautiful. Do you still support Trump? Yes, I do. Awesome. And then you can say whatever you like. Hello, how are you?
6'7". 6'7".
Doo-doo-doo. Hello, how are you? All right, goodbye. I know, it's just very strange the way people act sometimes. Hello, how are you?
Good and yourself?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I'm sorry, 1 second.
And how old are you?
Hello?
Sir, how old are you?
Yes, I am 28.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yes, I do still support Trump.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
Okay, so I'm not 100% about, well, no, I know that Trump has said some things that can be triggering to some people. And myself as well, I don't agree 100% on what he says. And I think he just says it to get a rise out of people. But that's not the point of why I support my side. The reason why I support my side is I don't agree with the ideologies of the left. Mainly stating, I mean, I don't think that all Democrats believe in certain ideologies. But if you're silent to it, that means you are silently agreeing to it. So
What ideologies?
That's my take on it. So neo-Marxist things.
Neo-Marxist things? Like what?
Yes, like queer theory, trans theory.
Queer theory is not neo-Marxist.
It has its basis. It has its basis in neo-Marxism.
First of all, queer theory is not a fucking thing.
No,
Second of all, what are you talking about?
okay,
Neo-Marxist?
so
That's a joke.
I understand what you're trying to get at, but the thing is, to be an actual neo-Marxist is a stateless, it's a familyless, and a actually can't remember the full
A stateless, moneyless,
But
classless
the-
society.
correct.
And that would
Okay,
be actually
to
what's
achieve that,
considered
there is
communism.
there's a
Marxism
certain
within
sect.
communism, but yeah.
I'm not saying the whole is like that. I'm just saying there's parts to it. Okay. So what I'm saying is that there's a part of the side that wants to get rid of the family, and they get through it by having queer theory and transgenders.
Yeah, so you're very much confusing two very different things that have nothing to go along with each other, right? So you're describing communism, right? And communism has to do with an economic status, right? Again, like you tried to say, moneyless, classless, stateless
Right.
society. Hold on,
The government owns the corporation. Okay.
hold
All right,
on.
go ahead.
Thank you. So there's no class, there's no money, there is no state, right? It's a little complete social society, right? Like completely. That has nothing to do with the family. Actually, if you look at traditional communists, right, they actually a lot of different attempts at communism throughout our history were very sir. Let me finish. We're very very anti-LGBTQ, right? They were very anti. A lot of the things that you're even saying, those two things don't have much to do with each other whatsoever. But sir, saying that because like people like me are totally okay with trans people existing and gay people existing doesn't mean I'm anti-family. I just believe that they should also be able to have families.
It's not about it existing. It's about allowing them to try to influence our kids.
And how are they trying to influence our kids?
Society. You got the drag schools at schools. You got certain literature that's allowed.
Hold on. You said drag. What does drag have to do with being gay or trans?
Yeah, they had the drag reading times, things like that.
No, but sir, what is that? What does drag have to do with being gay or trans?
It's about normalizing sexuality.
No, it's not. It's about people
Yes, it is.
wearing what makes them feel comfortable. You do realize that very straight cis people dress in drag, right?
See, it's not about whether it's about people being comfortable. It's about that's not supposed to be involved with children
Why not?
at all.
Why not?
It's not.
Why?
Kids are not supposed to be exposed to sexual things.
That's not a sexual thing.
It is.
How is if I put on a dress, is that
It's-
sexual?
If you are literally dressing, and see, the
Sir,
thing is,
I
it's not
asked you a
about just
question.
putting on a dress.
If
It's
I put
not
on,
about just putting on a dress. It's about accentuating certain things of the body.
it's about
'Cause they don't just
accentuating
put on a
certain things of the
dress.
body, so we
It's-
shouldn't be able.
it's
Hold on. So
if it was a sundress, I'm pretty sure, and even
this
then,
guy's fantasizing.
I don't think. See, the thing is, transgender is I believe some people.
So we're
all,
not
'cause there
talking
are some
about
people who
transgender
who are-
people. Listen, we're not talking about transgender people. We're talking about
Okay, yes,
freaking
yes,
people
that's very
dressing
true,
in
okay.
drag, which is what we're talking about. Okay.
Okay,
And
so
I asked
there
you
are,
a question.
I'm pretty sure
sir,
there are some drags that are trans. There are some drags that are
and there's some
heterosexual,
people,
or
and
they
there's
wanna
some
say
people
they're
that are straight.
heterosexual, and
What does that have to do with
they-
anything? You know what? There's some teachers that are trans. There's some teachers that are straight. There's some teachers that are gay.
Right. And see, look at there comes an ideology with this. I'm sorry. This doesn't just happen out of nowhere. People believe something and they reinforce it.
Sir, all I believe is that people are allowed to be who they are.
Yes, at your own home.
No, just in public. You should be able to be who you are out in public too.
You can be who you are in public. What I mean is that once you involve it with kids, that gets
Sir,
out of
sir,
the
sir,
question. It's
Sir,
up to the
no,
parent.
I
If
need
the
you. I need
parents
you to
don't want
listen.
it,
I need
then
you
they
to
don't want
listen. Okay. A man wearing a dress is not sexual, and if you think it's sexual, okay, then I think you need to question your sexuality.
Should a parent be able to decide whether the kids see that or not?
Whether they be able to see someone in a dress, no.
Yes.
People
So
are.
they shouldn't be able to decide if their kids are going to be indoctrinated by
That's
certain
not
ideologies.
indoctrination,
'Cause
sir.
these
That is
people-
just, sir.
These people to
sir,
be able to
sir,
accept
that is
their
not-
lifestyle
sir,
have to believe
sir,
a certain thing.
Sir, that is not indoctrination to say that people can wear what clothing they want. Okay. Should
The thing is,
hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let me
okay,
ask you a
okay.
question. Let me
It's
ask you a
not
question.
just
No,
about
let me ask you a
drag.
question.
See-
Be quiet.
See, the
Be
drag
quiet.
was just a small point. What you're
Be
nitpicking a certain
quiet.
thing. Drag was just a certain
All right,
thing.
I'll just make
got
you
the trans-
quiet then. If you can't listen like an adult, then I will just make you listen. Is that fine? All right, awesome. So if I don't want my kid to see a woman in jeans, okay, at a school, all right, should I be able to make a female teacher can't wear jeans at school because it can accentuate features?
Is that considered normal in society or not?
Not in my society. Not in my home.
What do you mean not? What do you mean not in your society? That's everywhere. Everybody wears jeans.
Oh, so you're just saying if it's normal in society. So you're
So
saying
you
it's okay.
believe
So
that
no, sir, I asked you a question.
So then what's
no,
a woman
so,
to then?
no. I asked you a question. So you believe that it should
No,
just
what-
fall.
what's a woman
Sir,
to
you
you?
can't hear my question if you're talking. My question was, so you believe it should all go off of what's normal in society, correct?
To a certain extent, yes.
All right, awesome. So we teach about history in our schools where men wore wigs. Actually, in a lot of schools, they're trying to do things like put the 10 Commandments in schools where they teach about Jesus. What did Jesus wear? Jesus wore a dress, right? George Washington wore a wig and
It's
makeup.
not a dress, it's a
Right.
robe. But I see what you're
Oh,
saying.
what's the difference between a dress and a robe?
It's different.
What's the difference?
Because a dress is supposed to accentuate certain things of the body.
It doesn't have to. Actually, some dresses are actually specifically made not to accentuate things
Well,
of the body.
if you want to argue that point, most dresses here in the United States do now.
But not a lot don't. What does that have to do with
I
anything?
would say 80% of
Gotcha.
dresses are
So
are
men
very
wore
sensual.
dresses. So according to these same people, right, for places like Oklahoma who are trying to put, the 10 Commandments in schools, right?
Okay.
Then we should specifically teach that men should only be able to wear dresses, and since we're putting the Bible in school.
See, the thing is, for people to start accepting these things, there have to be certain ideologies like a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man.
Why are you ignoring what I'm talking about and trying to move it on to a trans argument?
Because to me, it's all about the trans argument.
Okay, but see, you didn't bring up the trans argument. You talked about people dressing
I
in
gave
drag.
an example of trans, drag, and then you
Gotcha.
said what all
So
about the
you
drag?
want to move on to the next conversation. That's fine. You want to talk about
No,
trans
no,
people.
no. We'll keep it in drag. What good is drag?
What do you mean what good? It's not good or bad.
What good does drag bring?
I just answered your question.
Okay, so if you expose children to certain things, will they view that as normal?
No. Well, maybe,
Yes.
but it is normal.
And so you introduce, and all
But
of
it is
society,
normal.
It's always been normal. A guy does guy things, and a girl does girl things.
No, actually,
Whether
we
you go out- if
consistent.
you go
No,
out
we
to
actually.
society,
That's actually
no one should
wrong.
be shamed
That's
for who
hold
they
on.
wanna
That's
be.
actually completely wrong. What things are guy things and guy things, and what things are girl things is consistently changing throughout our history.
And are there not repercussions for it?
No.
There's
Again,
not,
sir, it was
there's not
very, very
crippling
common.
depression.
Sir, it was
There's not
sir,
people
sir,
unable to live with their life.
There was literally in the United States, it was common practice for men to wear tight pants, makeups, and wigs. Okay,
That was
and all
aristocratic
sorts
society.
of frills. Okay, that was what
Yeah,
was
and it was
considered.
filled
Sir,
with debauchery.
that's what was considered manly. Okay,
No,
and what
that
we
was-
consider
that was-
manly,
that was
what we
considered
consider
debauchery, and
manly
they
right
They all
now,
knew it. They
sir,
didn't care.
what is considered manly right now, and what is considered manly 30 years ago, and what will be considered manly 30 years from now, are all different, right?
That's
I
very
mean,
true.
look at
That's
the
very true.
look at hair metal, right?
That's
70s,
why I
80s hair
believe there
metal,
should be a foundation
long
for what
flowing
people believe.
freaking hair, tight pants, makeup. Hell, I mean, you look at people like Prince, right? Like it almost was like the more feminine you looked,
So
the more
what's better
manly
for
you were
society?
considered.
Do whatever makes you comfortable, or do what is right.
There is what decides what's right.
What's best for society?
That's not true. For a
Not a- you know what?
for a
That
long
can
time
go wrong as well. That can go wrong as well. So
yeah, for a long time in this country, freaking what was best for society was slavery. Does that make slavery right?
no, because Christians fought against slavery.
Christians fought against slavery. Literally, they taught slavery in church.
There were some
That is a
Christians that were
bold-faced
lukewarm,
lie.
but they weren't. Honestly, there was a lot of people who
So-
fought for slavery, but there was a lot of Christians that William Wilberforce fought for slavery to be taken out of in the UK. If I'm not mistaken.
Exodus 20 literally teaches you how to beat your slave.
I understand what you're saying. Okay, so Jesus said in the New Testament, it was said before that you could
It's
divorce your wife and
insane.
give her a certificate. But I tell you that it was not supposed to be used that way. But because of hardness of heart of you people, the Lord allowed it. The same way, slavery is the same thing. It was not supposed to be accepted. The Jews were taken out of slavery, but because of their hardness of heart, he put a lid on it to not let it go a certain way.
No,
And
actually,
if you want to go
that's
that way
actually
as
a
well,
lie.
then you could go to the Philemon and the
That's a lie.
Paul tells
hold
Paul
on.
tells the slave owner, "Hey, I saved this brother. This was your past slave. He's your brother in Christ. Take him back no longer as a slave, but as a brother in Christ."
Yes, because the Bible
You're no longer
specifically,
slaves.
sir, stop talking. Sir, the Bible specifically says that you can't make lifelong slaves out of Israelites. But it does
Yeah, you
say that other people, Gentiles, people from outside the country, you can make slaves for life, and you can take their children as slaves, and you can pass their children on to your children.
No, they gave conditions that said you have to give them a chance to leave after 7 years.
No,
if they don't wanna leave
only Israelites, only people that were Jewish. Gentiles, you do
okay,
not.
where does it at? And
Exodus 20, I already told you.
Exodus 20. Give me a second.
Sir, I don't want to sit here and freaking give you a Bible lesson. Like, really, this is ridiculous. Okay. What does any of this have to do? The entire argument was you said that if things think what's good for society
There
is
should
what's
be a
considered right.
foundation for how society is run.
Right. So what you're really just saying is you think Christianity should be the foundation for how things are run.
I believe Christianity is the best way to do it.
Why? The biggest atrocities in this world have come because of Christianity.
No, this is not the biggest atrocities. If you look at atheism, it also killed millions.
How?
Maoist China.
Maoist China wasn't atheist.
What was it then?
Oh, were they Tao?
It wasn't atheist. Sorry, it wasn't atheist, but it wasn't God based.
Oh, yes, it was. What are you talking, sir? Throughout our history, we've had God-based religions. Wow, I was good with Tao. That was a good pull, wasn't it, sir? Friggin', what about the Crusades?
The Crusades. I don't agree 100% with the Crusades happened. I know that there were Islam was conquering the Christian nations and enslaving them and killing them if they didn't want to change religions, and they went to go fight. That the first one I can kind of acknowledge that. The second one, not so much.
Okay. Well, anyway, sir, slavery was actually very well promoted in the Bible. Actually, specifically, they gave slaves the part of the Bible which taught people how to be good slaves. Christianity very much supported slavery.
I know
and
what
I'm
you're
still
talking
talking,
about.
and I'm
says-
still
it-
talking,
it
and
says
I'm
slaves
still
obey
talking, and
masters.
I'm still talking. I'm getting
Okay, go
really
ahead.
tired of getting cut off every time I say 3 words. Okay. But what you're really saying is, I don't want I don't want gay people to exist. I don't want freaking trans people to exist.
No, no.
Sir, I'm again still
No,
talking.
you're putting words in my mouth.
Sir, then you have
I
a
never
chance
said
to
that.
respond when
I
I'm
said-
done
I said
fucking
that you
speaking.
can be the
Then
way
you'll
you
have a
wanna be
chance
at
to
home.
respond when I'm done speaking. All right. Well, you will have a chance to respond when I am done speaking. I am putting you on mute until then because I'm getting really tired of getting cut off. You're already on mute. You're already on mute. All right. So anyways, what you were literally saying is that you just don't like, oh, he ran away. All right. Well, we'll keep moving on then. Dude, if I can't get 3 words out, that is ridiculous. Have a conversation, man. Anyways, we're going to move on to the next person. Lasco said, I don't know what that means. MAGA will dominate U.S. politics for 50 years. That's weird. Thanks for the $2, though. Angela said, please put this towards getting wigs out of history books. Can't have my non-existent kids exposed to all that woke shit. Thank you, Angela. I really appreciate that. Megan said, this is very entertaining. LOL, thank you. Thank you so much for that $2 super chat. And thank you guys so much for those. I really, really appreciate that. Guys, if I can't get 2 words out, I'm not going to sit here and just listen. And you guys couldn't hear it. It was really funny, but he kept screaming, if you put me on mute, I'm hanging up. Like that was a threat to me. So anyways, hello, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
25.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. Why is that? What's on your mind?
I think he's better for inflation.
You think he's better for inflation?
Yes.
Okay. Care to elaborate?
Well, why do you think? I'd like to hear why you thought we had inflation from like 2021 to 2024.
Well, sir, that's kind of a false question. We almost always have inflation.
Why do you think we had such a run-up of inflation?
Yeah, there was actually
Under Biden.
quite a few reasons why we had a huge run-up to inflation. There was large government spending over the end of the Trump administration, at the beginning of the Biden administration, especially when it came to COVID, right? So that was very inflationary. We had the shutdown of factories and, demand for a high demand for durables, with shortages in that, which helped lead to inflation. We had rising oil costs due to the OPEC Plus deal. That added to inflation. We had things like the Russia-Ukraine war, which added to inflation. We had the shutdown of shipping lanes. We had lots of reasons why we had a high level of inflation. Supply chain issues.
I will give you that. Trump, first, what it really was, and you kind of got it, was the government spending. And Trump did it too with the stimulus checks, right? He spent 2 or 3, those stimulus packages are like $2 or $3 trillion. But then Biden came in and spent also that basically, and a little bit more, I think.
Wrong.
But here's what I don't understand about Democrats and just what they think about the economy. Because just for your viewers out there, where inflation comes is from the government. Anytime the government prints money, artificially inflates the money supply, that's where inflation comes from. When we cut those stimulus packages for $3 trillion twice, we devalued everybody's dollar, right?
Well,
And so-
hold on. Well, first of all, that what you said wasn't accurate. Okay, Donald Trump over the time of his presidency added $8.4 trillion to national debt, and of that,
A
I
lot of
believe.
that was-
Hold on.
Go ahead.
And
Go
about
ahead.
4
Go
point,
ahead.
I think it was like 4.5 or 4.6 trillion of that was on COVID spending. Okay. And Biden administration came in and did COVID spending and only spent like 2.3 or 2.4 trillion on COVID spending. So if you're talking about that super high amount of money that was being spent, Trump was double. Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I think Trump spent. You're right in the fact that he spent a lot of his first administration. I think but a lot of it was the COVID thing at the end. That's like, if you go look, I was looking at it the other day. That's what put him over the edge over spending over Biden.
No,
But-
Biden's entire combined amount with COVID spending and non-COVID spending combined doesn't equal Donald Trump's COVID spending.
You're gonna see that $2 trillion.
And Donald Trump has already added $4 trillion in new debt just with the big beautiful bill, which will almost match what he's already added. He's only been in president for 8-9 months. What he's already added is already closing in on how much Biden added his entire presidency.
No, I think what you're looking at maybe is estimates. He did not add $4 trillion in the last 8 months to the presidency.
No, he did it.
But
I mean, he did it in one
no, he
bill.
did it.
The big beautiful bill adds $4 trillion. It's in the bill. They asked for a debt ceiling raise of $4 trillion in order to pay for the big beautiful bill.
Okay, so here's what Democrats are always saying. Like, okay, if we cut, because you're saying it's because we cut everything, right? We cut spending. Because what do you think is raising the deficit then? How are we raising the deficit if we're cutting spending and increasing revenue with tariffs?
Well, hold on. If we're cutting,
If
first of
we're
all,
cutting spending-
we're not cutting spending. Government spending is at an all-time
I thought
high.
we
right now.
I thought we were cutting Medicaid and Medicare, and everybody was dying in the streets.
You are cutting not Medicare, you're cutting Medicaid by a whole bunch of money. But if you're just cutting Medicaid and then spending that money on other things like another lowering of corporate tax rates, then it doesn't matter. You're still adding to the deficit.
Trump is. I mean, I don't think he goes far enough. I wish he. If we're up to, I think if we're up to a lot of Republicans, I think he should cut a lot more. But I think the Democrats totally disagree with that. And I've never understood that with progressives and liberals. Like, okay, they'll always say
he's not cutting money.
Well, they'll always be like, I mean, a big thing for liberals is they want health care for all, right? And a lot of that. And okay, we'll tax the rich, which, by the way, that wouldn't even cover that. But they want more government spending, more government programs. I've never understood why liberals can't see that, like, that wouldn't help anybody out and nobody could afford it. If we had to spend, okay, they want more government spending.
Sure.
That is where
You're kind of stepping over yourself here. Let me step in. You're saying that the people on the left want more social programs, which is correct. Okay.
Right.
But usually when the left adds to those social programs, it costs the government less money than when Republicans are just in office. Again, Donald Trump in his first term alone, without adding to those social programs, added more to our national debt than any president in American history has in 4 years, period. A third of the national debt that had ever existed in the United States was added just by Donald Trump, just in his first term. Okay. And again, he's already added another $4 trillion to national debt just in this term, just with the one big, beautiful bill. Okay. So when we're talking about, and government spending is at an all-time high. So when you want to talk about like, adding more to government or adding more government spending, they're doing that. The last time we had an actual balanced budget was actually under a Democrat. It was under Clinton. Okay. So Democrats are not for trying to raise the debt ceiling and add more debt and spend all this money. Republicans are the ones doing that. Okay. When you started to move into healthcare there, right? And yes, people on the left generally want, either a single payer healthcare system or a universal type healthcare system. The problem with that is that would actually save us money. It doesn't cost us more money. Right now, U.S. taxpayers are not only, paying their insurance costs, paying their co-pays, right? Their taxes are also going to help subsidize into those hospitals for like uninsured citizens. And our money is going to subsidize insurance companies that we're also paying. So really, we're paying for healthcare 4 different times out of our pockets, which literally, if we just cut that down to just paying taxes and those taxes covering our healthcare, we would actually save like 2/3 of the money that we already spend on healthcare. We'd be paying only about 30% of what we spend on healthcare right now. We'd be spending if we went to that.
You like how I let you talk and not interrupt you?
No, sir, I was just trying to
take
help
notice of
you.
that.
I was just trying to help you because you just kept repeating yourself over and over. I was
Hey,
trying to
no,
help you
so
out.
you said a couple things. By the way, I just looked it up. He did that for. I knew this sounded ridiculous. He did add $4 trillion to the debt in the last 6 months. What you're talking about is, I think that I'm looking at it right now. The OBB said that it might add an estimated $3.4 trillion to the national debt over 10 years.
Yes, sir. All debt is tracked over 10 years.
But you said that he added to the national debt the last 6 months. It's like,
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Let me make this clear. I thought I was talking to somebody that understood how national debt worked because you talked like you did.
So condescending.
It's very condescending because you talked like you understood national debt, and then you just made a whole comment that shows that you don't. So now I'll explain it to you.
Chat, go rewind whenever you said that Donald Trump added.
I know what I said.
Go rewind whenever this guy said he added $4 trillion in the last 8 months.
Yes, I did say that. You don't need to go rewind it. I did say that. Would you like me to actually explain to you national debt now?
So, yeah, anyways.
Okay, well, I'll explain it to you. No. I'm going to explain it to you because you obviously don't understand. And then since you want to be like, oh, go rewind the thing, I'll just have to explain it to you since you obviously don't understand it.
All right, go on. Please go on another
How we
please.
track debt in the United States is when presidents approve bills that add debt over the next 10 years. Okay, whenever we add debt to the national debt, we add it over the next 10 years. So when Donald Trump added 8.4 or 8.6 trillion dollars in the national debt in his first term, that wasn't 8.4 trillion dollars that was literally spent and added in those 4 years. That was the debt that he approved to be added to the national debt over the next 10 years, right? So therefore, we don't give Biden credit, right, for the debt that Donald Trump actually approved and added just because it was spent during Biden's term and continuing on, right? Biden added about $4.5 trillion in national debt.
No, he didn't. He added $8 trillion. He added $8 trillion. You're lying again.
Well, I'm explaining to you how debt works.
Okay, I mean,
thank you.
I know how it works. You were saying, I guarantee your audience was thinking that he added, out of the last 6 months, that we automatically added $4 trillion in 6 months.
No, they didn't, because my audience understands how national debt works. I'm explaining it to you.
I caught you in the fucking eye. Don't worry about it. And by the way, you just lied again about how much.
You have literally.
By the way, you literally lied again about how much Biden added to the debt. Biden added more to the debt than Trump.
All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the screen since you want to be this type of person.
I'm looking at it right now. President Biden
and everybody else in the live is looking right here at the Committee for a Responsible Budget, where it shows that the net 10-year debt approved, because that's how I just described it to you.
Are you on the Committee in Homeland? Are you on the government website? Because I have.
10-year debt approved is $8.4 trillion for Donald Trump and $4.3 trillion for Joe Biden.
What I'm looking at, President Biden has added $8.4 trillion to the debt, and the first Trump administration was $7.8 trillion.
Yeah, and what website is that on?
It is on Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs.
Gotcha. And what data are they sourcing in order to show that?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't really keep up with the Homeland Security and Affairs data sourcing.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that, look, from the Director of Office of Management and Budget. I guess that's where they're sourcing it from. Is that good enough for you?
No.
That's not good enough for you, the Director of the Office of Management and Budget?
Yeah, actually, that sounds partisan, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally a government or whatever.
Yeah, there's lots of government websites that are partisan. You do realize that things like whitehouse.gov and stuff like that, when they source things, they don't actually, and when you have House committees that post stuff, they don't actually have any necessity to be factual. You understand that, right?
Hey, you said that when government spending, you said something that I want to ask you about this. You said that when Democrats increase government spending, that will save money over time.
That's not what I said at all.
Oh my. Okay, so what did you say?
You should really learn to keep track of this conversation.
Yeah, right. I'm fucking calling you out on everything. All right,
Yes,
tell
you're
me.
you're
You
doing
literally
so.
said stop. You literally said.
You're literally
You
doing
literally.
so great.
Yeah, you're looking like a clown. Please tell me how Democrats increasing government spending will save us money.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I said I said going to a universal or single payer healthcare system will save us money. I said that the Democrats want more social programs, but actually, when we put these social programs in, it saves the U.S. money.
Why would more social government programs save us money? If we're spending more government spending, why would that save us money?
I didn't say more government spending. Do you not understand the difference between more government spending and more social programs? They don't have to go together.
That is literally the definition of government. Government programs would increase government spending. That is what else?
Not always, not at all.
What else do we spend it on? We got military and stuff. Yes,
sir.
Social Security,
I will try
Medicaid.
to explain this to you again. I really hope you can try to listen this time.
Going outside.
Okay.
Dude, your chat is retarded.
All right. Well, their understanding of the dead is a lot stronger than yours, so I'd watch who you were calling names. Sounds like my chat has a much better understanding of what is going on within our government than you do.
Yeah, sure. Everybody in this chat is honestly. I've been watching your chat. They're fucking retards about all this.
All right. Well, maybe instead of reading the chat, you should try to concentrate on the conversation. Okay. And then maybe you'd be able to come up with a response that actually sounds like a smart person said it. Okay. But I'm not going to have you using the R word on my live either. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right.
All right. Go on.
Perfect. So what I very much explained to you is that we already pay our healthcare services 4 different times out of our own pockets as U.S. citizens. Okay. If we were to actually go to a single payer or a universal system, then U.S. taxpayers would not. Right now, we already pay for our healthcare with taxes, and we already pay for it out of pocket also. If we were just to go to a universal system, we would only pay it in taxes and not out of pocket, which means you'd still probably pay exactly what you already pay in taxes that goes to subsidize.
It's insane.
What are the 4 things that we pay for healthcare?
I already said that. I explained it earlier.
What
you really weren't paying attention, were you?
What is it? Just tell me.
Yeah. So you pay your insurance companies, you pay your co-pays directly to the hospital, and then we have subsidies that go from your tax dollars to those hospitals, and then there's subsidies that go from your tax dollars into insurance companies.
Right. So don't you think we should privatize all that? Doesn't that sound a little too bloated?
It is bloated.
Don't you think healthcare would be better privatized instead of from the government?
No, this is the privatized system.
Obamacare is not. We all support Obamacare.
Obamacare is privatized.
System. Obamacare is privatized. Where does Obamacare get the money?
From people paying.
People paying into what? We paid it.
They're insurance companies. You think Obamacare is the government paying insurance costs? You do realize everyone on the ACA pays their insurance companies, right? Did you think that the ACA was a freaking universal healthcare system?
All right. Taxpayers fund the subsidies provided through the ACA marketplaces. I like how you're acting like, look at this chat. It's like a crazy different reality that you guys live in. Yes, of course we pay for the ACA. That's the whole thing about Obamacare, you idiot. Go look at it. Taxpayers fund the subsidies for that. Everybody, you guys are like delusional here.
Sir, if it has a...
Go fucking look it up, dude. Go look it up. You don't think that taxpayers pay for the ACA?
Sir.
What do you think that money comes from?
Sir, okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Where does the taxpayer subsidies, where do they go? Where do the subsidies go, sir?
What do you mean, where do they go?
Well, you're saying that the federal government subsidizes healthcare. Where do those subsidies go?
Wait. Do you want to look this up real quick?
No, I want you to answer No, I want you to answer the question. Where do the subsidies go?
To fund the program. What do you mean?
Programs?
Where does it go?
What programs?
The ACA, Obamacare.
Yes, the ACA uses subsidies to fund what?
People's health insurance, I assume. I don't know.
People's health insurance. So private health insurance. It subsidizes private health insurance. It's already privatized. That is what private is. It is your private companies. These are not government insurance companies. They are privatized insurance companies.
Oh my God!
We
I
are
didn't say it
living
was.
in a private healthcare system.
Dude, you're trying to. Did I say that it was a government insurance company?
Yes, you
I'm saying
literally
there's a government.
said.
No, I didn't.
You literally
dude. You
said,
are
wouldn't
such
our
a
system be
fucking-
better if it was privatized?
Yes, where the taxpayer isn't subsidizing insurance. I'm not saying the insurance company is a government insurance company, but the taxpayer is subsidizing it. That's not free marketplace.
We were
obviously.
subsidizing it before the ACA.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. I think it all should be privatized.
Well, if it wasn't, then you would just be paying even more out of pocket.
No, it wouldn't. It would be the free market, brother. It would
Exactly,
be the
and
free
the
market.
free
It would
market-
be
Sir,
like car
how old
insurance.
do you
It
say
would
you
be
were?
like home insurance. It'd be like
How
everything
old are
else.
you?
But liberals have to be like, oh,
Sir, how old are
we
you?
have to pay for everybody's health care. And if you don't agree with that, you're a terrible person.
How old are you?
We don't have the money.
Hey,
Okay?
how old are you?
16. I told you already.
Oh, you didn't. And actually, you got to go. That actually makes complete sense now that I know how old you are. I was like, you must be a child. Sorry. I thought he lied to me before. He didn't tell me that's how old he was. Yeah, he said 25. He's lying. I knew he had to be a child. I knew he had to be a child. Because it's like, dude, do you not remember how things were prior to the ACA? Yeah, he said 28. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. He said 28 or 25 or something. Stay in school, kids. Stay in school. Drugs are bad, okay? Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next caller. Feisty, thank you for the $10 super chat. Said club dues. Thank you so much. Speaking of being part of the club, if you'd like to become a member or gift memberships, that's a great way to support the live, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. People used to lie about their age to go fight in wars, and now people lie about their age to not understand healthcare on a live. Isn't that wild? Y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Andrew said $5 for every slur. Yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit. Oh, look, Daniel. Thank you so much, Angela. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for the $10. Daniel said, from the day America was... Oh, I didn't realize this was Daniel. From the day America was founded to 2001, debt ceiling was $4 trillion. Dims and reps both skyrocketed. After that, a president can't spend money without congressional approval. Laundering money is legal. This might actually be the most intelligent thing Daniel has ever said in a super chat on my live. Funny enough. Thank you so much, Daniel, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. And here's Daniel again. It says farmers, single moms, electric companies, oil companies, nobody with a bad product should be bailed out by the government. Just run a good business and pay taxes. Daniel must be sober today. These are actually pretty cognizant for him. Thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate the $10 super chat. And Spider, thank you for the $2. I also appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. And Tyrone, thank you so for the $5 over on Cash App. I really appreciate that. It says fighting MAGA nonsense with common sense.
Insane.
Thank you so much, Tyrone. I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Y'all, make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you'd like to support, again, I do have super chats open and pay links in the bio, so I really do appreciate all of the support.
Insane.
Thank you guys so much. Hello, how are you?
Hey, Holly, how are you?
I'm doing good. How old are you?
I'm 35.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I don't. I just wanted to put in this one really quick thing. If you guys don't know where the tariff money is going, it's to the sovereign wealth fund that he created early in office. And so all of the money that is being taken in through these tariffs goes straight into his pocket.
That is a good point. I forgot to mention that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's not being mentioned anywhere. I think everybody needs to be saying it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
big
I think you're
fan.
right. Sometimes I just hear like so much shit. Like sometimes every once in a while I forget certain parts that really need to be mentioned. But you're right. Yeah, it should be mentioned more.
Yeah, it needs to be mentioned like continuously. Like everybody needs to be aware that he's ripping us all off, and we're all okay with it.
I am personally not okay with it.
Well, you know that. Thanks, bro.
Thanks a lot, man. Have a good one. Also, Marika, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. I really appreciate that also. Thank you so much. Big W's to chat for Marika and Tyrone over there with the Cash Apps and the PayPals. All right, we're going to move on to the next caller. Oh. Hello, how are you?
6-7, 6-7.
The 6-7 thing is really weird. I had to have my daughter explain it to me. It was very weird. I was like, what is this? And she was like, it's nothing and it's stupid. And I was like, oh, okay. Hello, how are you?
Doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How old are you?
I was born in 1973.
Well, I think
My
that makes
birth-
you old enough.
August 1st. I'm 52 years old.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
What's that?
Do you still support Trump?
I don't support any politician, but I was just watching you, and you were on the phone or talking to somebody about health care and how much it costs.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to say about healthcare. When I was 14, 15, 16 years old, working construction, doing manual labor and whatnot, we had health insurance back in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s and whatnot. But we paid $15 a week out of our paycheck. Okay, so it was like healthcare wasn't optional. They just automatically took it out of your paycheck for your hours of work. You work 40 hours, 50 hours, you work for a company, you get a paycheck.
Yep.
But like the taxes, FICA, Social Security, Medicare. Did you know that Medicare is a separate tax?
Yes, I did.
And versus Social Security?
I did know that, yes.
Yeah. But back in the day, we had health insurance. And I used to pay, $15, $20 a week. And they took it out of my paycheck before they paid me. They took all the taxes out of they made the company that I worked for pay the taxes before the company gave me my paycheck for the week.
Yes, this has been a large change where we again prioritize corporations in the United States prior to workers' rights, right?
My health insurance when I was in my mid-20s, 30s, and I'm married at 28 years old. Now I had been with a partner for many years, but after 4 or 5 years, then eventually we got married in 1998. I apologize. We got married in 2001, December 6th, in Key West, Florida, at Kelly's Beach Club. And Kelly McGillis is the chick from Top Gun. She owns South Beach in Key West. Anyway, that's a side point. But as a steel worker and a fabricator, a welder, construction worker, whatever, if I was injured for any reason, whether I was driving my car or I was injured on a job site, if I spent 4 or 5 days in a hospital or whatever, my medical bills for the hospital were covered 100%. So
all right, sir, let me cut you off for a second. I'm sorry, this is kind of going off. Well, yes, in the United States we have changed.
Barack Obamacare came along and it changed all that.
Sir.
You know what I pay for health insurance now for me and two
Sir,
children?
this changed well before the ACA.
$175 a week, and I have a $5,000 deductible that I have to meet. So if anybody in my family gets injured, the first $5,000 is on me, and then anything above that, the insurance company will pay.
Sir, that changed way before the ACA. Okay.
Health insurance. I'm paying almost $400 a week.
Sir, what is your point?
That's Obamacare. That's what you people don't seem to understand.
That is not Obamacare, sir.
You didn't pay your health care when you filed your taxes at the end of the year. They would just deduct the amount of money that you had to pay a fine.
Sir, I think you're missing about 30 years. Sir, be quiet. Sir, please stop. 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 Last time I'm asking. Last time I'm asking.
You and everybody.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next caller. Last time I was calling, I think your brain missed about 40 fucking years in there, in between when you were like 14 and 15 and 16, and when the ACA was passed. Okay, there was a lot of time in there where a lot of things happened, specifically during like the Reagan administration. Okay. I did enjoy it for way too long. Okay, that is correct. I did enjoy that for way too long. Violet, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Your auto mod is broken, dude. Muted me for no reason. It shouldn't be muting people for no reason unless you're using caps, whether you're spamming or you're cursing. Usually those are the things. And it does, yeah, it kind of messes up sometimes, but it's kind of the price we have to pay because people don't know how to act in the live. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's going to pick up wrong things. I apologize, Violet. And Art, thank you so much for the $5 super chat too. I really appreciate that. We're going to move on to the next caller and keep this thing going. Guys, we only need one more of these little tiny dinies so I can move on to the next little goal over there. I'd really appreciate that. Also, Gracie, thank you. Gracie, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Says, why don't MAGA understand Kamala VP that if when Biden steps down or unable to continue serving, the VP steps up? Poor ignorance. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what the purpose of the VP is. That's the whole thing. That is the thing. Hello, how are you?
Yo, what's up? I'm 23. I did vote for Trump. I don't trust no one anymore. Epstein's dad being a Mossad agent, that kind of did it for me. What's your take?
I do not have a take on your conspiracy
That's not a conspiracy.
Yeah. That's literally the definition of a conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Well, you're on YouTube right now.
Correct.
That's not a conspiracy.
No, me being on YouTube is not a conspiracy. That is happening right now. What's up? All right, guess we're moving on to the next person. I don't really. There was something about Epstein and Mossad. That's all I heard, really. Y'all hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to move on to the next caller. If you guys would like to call in, the number is right above my head.
It's insane.
Latifa, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Said they praised Argentina for gutting its government and they crashed 6 months. And then Trump is bailing them out with millions. How do farmers feel about that? They probably feel
insane.
Very broken and not very respected. Considering I don't think we've sold like a single soybean. Pretty sad. Thank you so much, Latifa. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I don't, and I used to support him, but I want to say a couple of things. The thing is the way that I feel about politics is that I feel like no matter which side that you vote for, it's never going to be in the best interest of the people. And the reason I say that is because there's so many lobbyists right? And there's so many multi-millionaires who are politicians, right? So it's kind of hard for me to even like get behind anyone, right? Like whenever I voted, right, I voted for Chase Oliver, right? Because like I mean, there's just so many people who just take bribes, right? And so like, how do we fix that? And is it even fixable? You know?
Well, getting money out of politics is an entire problem, but let's not pretend that they're both the same.
Well, I'm not saying that they're the same, right? I'm just saying that
You just did.
Well, okay.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, dude. You literally did just say that everybody's the same. That's why you're voting for people like you said both sides are the same. That's why you voted for Chase Oliver. And I'm saying there's a huge difference in between the two, right? Like, yes, is money in politics across the board? Yes, 100%. Is that bad? Yes, it is bad. Should we fix it? 100%. There is a big difference between the money that goes into donations for Democrats and even a lot of Republicans, right? And then the money that like people like Donald Trump have put in, like that literally like quid pro quo, like you like look at UAE for example. Okay? UAE is a perfect example. Donald Trump just released our newest, best freaking AI chips, right? AI microchips, right? To UAE.
Right.
He did it right after they put $2 billion into a private crypto organization that was ran and owned by him and Steve Witkoff's sons. All right. He only took the money after he got the $2 billion from the UAE. Right. And then he allowed what could possibly be a national security risk to happen based off them purposely giving him money. All right.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a grifter, right? I mean, there's so many grifters in politics, right? And I mean, I just think that like we have to come to a consensus of like, do I think that the Democrats are a little bit better than the Republicans? 100%. But at the same time, like the Democrats just let you down so many times, right? And it's not necessarily their fault.
Then fix the system.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of like...
But you're not fixing the system by voting for Chase Oliver. You're ignoring the system.
So I'm just asking, so does my vote not matter? Because at the end of the day...
Of course it matters.
Well, I'm just saying because the Electoral College is the one who really, truly decides, right?
Well, I mean, we decide using the Electoral College.
Like, for me, right, I live in Texas, right? I'm voting for James what's his name? James Talacrio or something like that. Right? And it's really not much. You have like these right and left issues, right? But at the end of the day, it's more of like the top versus the bottom, right? It's between the haves and have-nots, right?
Sure. I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about. You're saying you're voting out of the system in order to try to fix and to complain about the system. The only way to fix the system, there's only two ways to fix the system. You got to fix the system from within, or you have to destroy the system. Okay?
Right.
There's only two ways to fix the system. Ignoring the system doesn't fix the system. Okay? Voting for somebody like Chase Oliver doesn't fix the system. It ignores the system. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay?
Well, I guess like how does that ignore the system, right? Because like I've tried to like be an independent voter, right? And go based upon policies, right? So I guess in your perspective, how does that ignore the system, right? That's just my question to you. Because
if you have a system in which right now, currently, and by the time you were voting for the president, there was only two people that had a possibility of winning. Just two. There wasn't any more. Chase Oliver did not have a chance of winning, right? The system needed to be fixed before we got to that point, all right? But by the time we're at that point, you have the choice between a public servant and a grifter, right? So by not voting for the public servant, you're allowing the grifter in. All right. I'm not saying I support the public servant or the grifter. I'm saying being absent is just in support of the opposition. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see your perspective. Yes.
All right. But the system needs to be fixed well before that. But I am going to let you go just because I am looking for Trump supporters and I haven't had one in a second because I've been talking to too many friendlies. So I wanted to get to a point. But you need to right now, you need to start thinking about how you affect the system from the inside for the midterms next year, for the presidential election in 3 years. Like, what are we doing right now what are you doing? What am I doing? What are you doing? What are we doing to affect who these parties put in to actually help fix the things that we want? Like you're talking about, Tellerico, I forget his name, Democrat, Texas, right? You're talking about him. All right, cool. You're working towards it. You're understanding. Hey, that is the way that I believe that we start to fix the system, is voting for people like him, respecting people that try to help things like that. And I support that 100%. All right.
Right. And I just wanted to say this too, right? Is I appreciate you allowing me to speak, right? I think that's really awesome what you do and like challenge people's beliefs. I think that's awesome because I mean, I think I was talking, I don't know if it was like, there was this other girl that was on there and wouldn't let me talk at all. I was just trying to like have an opinion and speak on it, right? So I appreciate you letting me come on here and speak, right? Even though like, I mean, a lot of people say that, yeah, I wasted my vote, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, like, I mean, look, Texas is like the 50th in education. I'm not going to try and sit here and pretend that I'm not the most intelligent guy in the world. I'm just going off of my beliefs and what I think is right?
Yeah.
But
I do completely understand, man. And I said, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I do need to move the conversation on to somebody else. Okay. By the way, Texas is not 50th in education, but I do hope you have a good one. All right. Sorry. I'm really not trying to be a jerk, but again, I'm trying to move on with the conversation. I'm just trying to move on. Not trying to be a dick, man. Hello. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I am 40 years old.
Awesome. Do you still
From
support
North
Trump?
Carolina. I do support Trump, man, even though he is a grifter and he does his little shady deals to put a little dollar in his pocket, which I don't like because he's not supposed to do that being in power. However, he gets shit done.
What's he getting done?
There's a lot of things he get done. And even though he does a quid pro quo, he's out here, at least he's doing something in the Middle East. I mean, look at what happened in Gaza. He got a ceasefire for the Middle East, and he's probably planning on hopefully giving Palestine their own state, even though he's opposing it. He's probably going to win the Nobel Prize because that's what he wants. He gets what he wants, and he's going to bring peace to the Middle East.
He's not bringing any peace to the Middle East. He's literally causing the exact opposite of peace in the Middle East, and he's not going to get a Nobel Peace Prize. And there's definitely is no ceasefire. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Are you serious, man? They just posted it right after Netanyahu's speech. Trump came out and said that they came up with a plan for a ceasefire.
Yeah, they've had a plan for the ceasefire for 3 years.
No, I mean, they had a plan since February 2nd, but I'm just saying they're finally going to they're going to make it happen, hopefully. Either way, Trump, he gets stuff done.
So what has he actually gotten done?
I don't know, man. I just feel like he gets things done. He's very provocative. He's in your face.
So you're saying
and he doesn't shy away from things.
You say
I don't have any evidence points for you.
So you say he gets things done, but you have zero evidence points to how he gets things done.
Exactly. I don't have the time for me to paint it all out for you because I don't think I got the time for this conversation.
You could just name one.
I just wanted to state a point. That's it. He said Trump supporters. I'm just telling you, I feel like he gets things done. It might not be for our happiness or for everybody's likeness, to please everybody, but he does get stuff done. It might not be the way you like for him to get it done. He's done more than Biden has done, and he's only been in office for how many months? Not 10 months?
Sir, you can't name a singular thing he got done.
I don't want to name. I'm just letting you know. That's all thing I wanted to say. You have a good afternoon.
How are we having an argument about what are we talking about, dude? He doesn't. What did he get done? I don't know. Oh, goodness gracious. Jazzy, thank you so much for the $1 super chat. I appreciate that. Daniel says, Google subscribers now available. I tried to give you a call. Well, that's probably because my phone lines weren't open, Daniel, but I appreciate the $5. And Brad the Pagan, how you doing, man? Says, hey, man, been a bit. Good to see you again. Good to see you too, Brad. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man.
It's insane.
Hello, how are you? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Who's this?
I mean, who's this? You called me.
Oh, my bad. Wrong number.
All right, dude. What do you mean? You called me, big dog. Oh, I didn't call you. Freaking who this? New phone. Who this? Daniel with the $20 super chat. Daniel says, Stalin tried give everyone free food. Farmers disagreed with this. If you try to fix America, you have to accept all the welfare debts, corporate, civilian, fake money keeps unneeded people alive and companies profitable.
Hello?
Thank you, Daniel, for the $20 super chat. I appreciate that. Hello, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
35.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
Sorry, you kind of cut out a little bit.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Sorry?
What is on your mind?
Okay, sorry. I don't know if it's my connection or yours.
You're
but,
good, bro.
So I would just say, if you just look strictly at the border, with the U.S.-Mexico border, just the reduction in the border crossings alone justifies his reelection. The border crossings, excuse me, everyone has their, differing opinions about how impactful they were on the U.S. as far as, the economy and
I just want to know how it affected you.
Me personally, well, I think to say that it doesn't affect me personally, because I personally live in a very small rural town where there's not, we have like one Mexican restaurant with a handful of actual Mexicans who live in the area. So like for me personally, it didn't really affect me, but we are a nation of laws, and I think in order to maintain national security, we do have to maintain those laws and enforce those laws.
Gotcha. So
And,
you think, hold on. So just to be clear,
Sure.
you believe that Donald Trump deserved re-election for an issue that does not affect you in order to maintain laws, even though he's a felon.
Again, to say that it doesn't affect me at all is not accurate. To say that it does not affect me on a day-to-day basis, like in my day-to-day life, for example, I don't live in a large metropolitan area where there's, job scarcity or, excuse me, housing scarcity because of an influx of illegal migrants or anything like that. But it does affect me, and again, that we are a nation of laws, and in order to maintain our security as a nation, we do have to enforce those laws.
Well, sir, I'm not arguing about enforcing laws. You voted for a felon.
Well, that is on appeal. I mean, I'm not going to say he's not a
No,
convicted
sorry. So
felon. He is.
I don't give a shit if it's on appeal or not.
Sure. Well, I'm just saying. I'm just pointing that out. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to argue. Yeah, he is a convicted felon. Yes, and the judicial system did its work in that process, and it's still continuing to do its work in that process in the appeal. So,
Sir,
until that's
it's
totally
not
finished,
even. It's not currently on appeal. Okay, it's not currently on appeal. Okay, and we don't.
Sorry,
we don't. Well, hold on, sir. Like if somebody I'll give you an example. There was that guy, what was it, in Colorado or Utah, that just like murdered a bunch of people at that college campus?
Yeah.
Yeah, it started with like a K or something. Yeah, so he just got convicted of murder, right? And he got sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, is he guilty of murder?
He was found to be. I mean, I'm not sure.
I'm saying he was found to be by our court of law. So he is a felon. He will spend the rest of his life in jail, right?
Well, not necessarily, no. I mean, again, the option of appeal is there. That's how the
right, sir. But he will be appealing until the day he dies.
That's very possible. I mean, you never know. New evidence may come to light. I'm not certain. I'm saying, if nothing changes, then yes, he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Correct. Yes.
By that thought process, every person who's ever committed a crime, is never guilty ever, because they're always appealing. People in prison are.
I'm not saying they're not guilty.
People are consistently
I'm sorry.
appealing.
I think maybe the disconnect here is what definition of guilty are you using? Legally guilty, or did they do it?
Oh, that's both for Trump.
Okay. Sorry?
Well, I mean, that's both for Trump.
Okay. Well, I'm not really sure how that's relevant to my point.
Because you're saying that it's a
illegal
nation
immigration.
of laws, sir. Because you're saying it's a nation of laws. Okay, and laws, that's fine. Okay, just because things are lawful don't make them moral. Just because things are moral don't make them lawful.
Right,
vice
I
versa,
agree with that,
and
yeah.
all that sort of stuff, right? But
I agree with that.
to say I am supporting this president because he upholds the law, while also that person is the only president in our history to be confirmed to have broken the law, just seems very disingenuous.
Well, I'm not saying that is the sole reason that I voted for him or that I support him. I'm saying that I think that alone is enough to merit having him reelected, because the border crisis was an absolute crisis.
You know why we had a border
large
crisis?
metropolitan areas. There are several reasons why we had a
Sure, like
border
what?
crisis. All I know is that you couldn't get bipartisan support, and
We actually
presidential
did have
support
bipartisan
through the
support.
years. And you could not get presidential support, and I know.
Oh my God!
Of course, Trump put in against it whenever it was, first, he called in favors to have it shot down in Congress. But this is not just a Trump issue. The migration problem has been a problem since back in the early 2000s, or even earlier. We've had border problems for decades.
All right, so let me ask you this question,
But
and I
what
agree
I'm
with you on
gonna-
that.
Before you cut me off and state your point, can I just say, though, this is actually the first time, though, this is historic low border crossings. So whether or not it went through the proper channels to happen, or whether or not, whose fault it was that it didn't happen sooner, the point is that it did happen now under Trump.
Sir,
And it may could have
hold
happened sooner. I'm not going to argue that point. If he hadn't called in a favor, sure, maybe it could have happened sooner. But that legislation, wasn't just border policy.
Yes, it
the
was.
legislation that was proposed. No, it
Yes,
also
it was.
it also included a lot of footnotes.
Incorrect.
Not incorrect.
Yes.
I read the policy proposal.
Well, did you read the fact that the Republicans, though, the ones that asked for that funding, the funding for Ukraine and Israel to go through, to be put on it, and that the bill was actually separated into 3 separate bills afterwards, one for Ukraine, one for Israel, and one for border crossings or one for immigration. They were separated, and then the Republicans voted for the Ukraine and the Israel funding, but not for the immigration, even as a standalone bill. So no, there was not a whole bunch of footnotes and stuff in there. They were 3 separate bills that were combined and then broken back out. Okay, but sir, you cannot tell me that someone, all right, deserves re-election for fixing the border, and also tell me that the border would have been fixed if it wasn't for them prior. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm not saying that it definitely. I'm saying there was legislation on the table, and it may have passed, it may not have. I mean, there was bipartisan support, but whether or not it would have actually gone through, who's to say? And
The
I'm not
senators.
negating what happened. And what could have happened are 2 totally different things. They can say they would have supported it. They may have said there was enough. When bills get to
They
the floor,
wrote it.
a lot of the time when bills get to the floor for voting, that's when they start to heckle for extras in footnotes added to the bill. So whether or not it would have actually went, you never know.
Sir,
However,
they polled the senators. It had 95% freaking support in the Senate. It needed 60.
I'm sorry. I don't think that 95% was an accurate figure.
It was an accurate number, and the dissenting senators were Democrats, not
Right,
Republicans. They were Democrats. Okay, sir, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just a ridiculous stance to have. Okay, this is what I hear. Okay, this is what I hear. Okay,
Sure.
I walked up to a house. Okay, the house was burning down. Somebody the fire department was there. Okay, trying to put out the fire. Okay, I took all those firemen and freaking unalived all of them so they couldn't put out the fire. Then I came back a few hours later and put out the fire myself. Okay, after a bunch more damage had been done. Okay, now should I get credit for putting out the fire, even though I was the one who stopped the fire department from putting out the fire to begin with? No, it's my fault that the fire department wasn't able to put out the fire to begin with. If the fire department was left to their own accord, the fire would have been gone and a lot less damage would have happened. Okay? That's what would have happened. Okay. But instead, I injected myself into the situation, made it where the fire department wasn't able to put out the fire. And then now, all of a sudden, people are giving me credit for putting out the fire and saying, you know what? Paulie now deserves to be the new fire chief. Okay? I don't deserve to be the new fire chief. The only reason that the fire department didn't put it out before was because I stopped them. That is the exact thing that's happening with Trump. Trump knew that the only way he could get reelected was to run on the border. How he convinced a bunch of people who are not affected by the border, like yourself, okay, to make the border the number one issue in their lives is insane to me. Okay. But he was the one that allowed the border issue to start. If it wasn't for him, if the government was just left to its own accord, the government under the Biden administration would have fixed the border crisis on their own. And
Okay,
he
can I
stuck his
interrupt you
hand
for
in there.
just 1 second?
Go
Can I
ahead.
interrupt you for just 1 second? Okay. I'd like to point out a couple of things, and then I'll actually have to go because my family's awake now. You know, I was just doing this for fun while my wife and kid were still asleep. I will say that I don't think that Trump ran strictly on the border or that he was elected strictly on the border. I think that the Democrats basically exploded their own campaign in the way that they did everything. I think that a rock could have ran against Kamala Harris or Joe Biden and won. I don't think it would have been difficult for anyone to have beaten either of them. And I think that Trump would have beaten them even without the border. Strictly just because of all the chaos and you know, people will agree, disagree, but you know, with all the stuff surrounded by Biden's health and Kamala's, you know, truthfulness in you know, her supporting Biden in his health and saying that he was helpful, all that. I think that he would have won regardless. And I think to say your comparison earlier is a little incomplete. It's kind of applicable, but I think kind of not. In that, again, we don't really know that it would have even passed, and we've seen that for the last several decades. I'm sorry, but
no, but we do know it would have passed. You've said this multiple times, and that is completely false. It would have passed. All right, we know it would have.
Okay, well, I'll give you that point. Just because I don't have time to argue it. But the
you have nothing to argue it on.
Right. Okay. Well, again, also, I just don't have time. That's not the point, not the hill I'd want to die on at this point anyways. And you said if he would have left the government to their own devices to work as they should, it would have happened. But we've seen that for the last several decades, it has not happened under any administration, under any party. And you can say it was going to happen, but it didn't for whatever reason. But it has now under Trump. So, you know, that's why I still support him.
That's
Whether or
sad.
not it could have happened sooner, I support him because it did happen under him, and it was a priority for him. And maybe he wanted to, burn the other bill down because he preferred, maybe it wasn't written in a way that he liked it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it wasn't
Let's be very
effective
clear,
enough
sir.
for him.
It is truly a difference in thought for some people, because a lot of people were manipulated. Okay. A lot of people were manipulated into voting for Donald Trump because of this perception of the border. Right. And that's sad. I do really think that that's sad. Okay. But I think the sad part about this conversation that you're saying, I know I was manipulated and I like it. And I think
I don't think that I was manipulated.
No, you do, because you're literally saying, I know that Donald Trump stopped the border from being fixed. I know that it happened like that. Okay. But it doesn't matter because he stopped it so he could fix it. And I love him for that. That is literally essentially what you're saying. And let's also be clear that a rock could have ran against either of them. That's bullshit. If you look at the popular vote.
I mean, not literally, obviously.
If you look at the popular vote, okay, Kamala Harris had 107 days to run and lost by 1 point, like less than a percentage and a half. In 107 days.
She had 4 years to campaign as vice president. Her job
as vice president is to be the vice president, not to campaign.
Basically, is to show what she's made of, what she's capable of, how competent she is. What else is she? What else would her
what is
as
JD
vice
Vance
be used for?
What is JD Vance showing as his competence right now?
I don't really follow what JD Vance.
What
does,
about
honestly,
Mike Pence? What did he do to show how competent he was to become president?
I didn't follow Mike Pence.
Can you please tell me what
either,
one vice
to be honest.
president in our history of our United States has done to run their campaign and show how competent they were while they were vice president?
Oh, Al Gore did a whole lot.
Al Gore might be your only example.
Oh no, I mean there are several. I'm just trying to think of one who's
like who?
recent enough. If you want to go on back, let's see. Nixon, back when Nixon was VP.
All right, cool. So we have to go back to the 70s.
Some VPs are just not very notable VPs. I'm sorry.
No,
I mean, they're just
no
not.
VP is supposed to be a notable VP.
Again, I
VPs
know that's not exactly their job to be notable and to say, hey, look, this is me because I'm going to be running soon. I'm saying that 4 years to show what you're capable of in your competence and your ability
She helped pass the largest
perform
infrastructure
a high capacity job.
Yeah, she helped pass the largest infrastructure bill in American history. She helped stabilize the entire Northern Triangle and reduce asylum seeking from those countries by 50%. Okay.
Listen, I'm not going to argue her stats because that's not my point. My point is,
well, yeah, that is your point.
that
You're saying that
still
she had
lost.
You're saying that she had 4 years to prove her competence, and I'm showing you different things in which she proved her competence. You just don't want to listen.
But that didn't translate well to the American people.
Because
it's not
you
me
weren't
that you have to
listening.
convince. Well, that's all the American people, I guess. Then
It's not all the American people. Again, 1.5%.
Well, enough. She had 4 years to show, to convince people in a way that she was capable of handling.
I don't think
the
that
job
she had
of vice
planned
president.
on. She did handle the job of vice president very, very
Well,
well.
she didn't convince people very well.
Sir, she had
didn't convince people
107
enough.
days. Donald Trump ran a year and a half campaign. Kamala Harris had 107 days without
Where are
knowing
you
that.
missing that she had 4
without-
years that she could
sir.
have spent to have shown her capability
Yeah.
and to have shown the
Instead,
American people?
Instead,
and
she just was a
convince
good
them.
vice president.
No, that she was a capable person.
She was capable, and instead of freaking trying to show
And
that
again, I'm
she,
not going to argue that. It's not
Sir.
me that has to be convinced. It
sir,
was the
I'm not
American
trying to
people
convince
that she
anyone.
felt
You're
to
just
convince.
ignoring what's obvious and in front of you.
No, what's obvious is that she lost, so she did not perform well enough to satisfy people to think that she could have performed as a president.
No, she
That's
was
the
just
overall
black
point.
and a woman.
You really think that that's what it was when a black man just won in 2008?
Who are the only two
Period.
Who are the only two people that Donald Trump has ever beaten in an election?
I'm sorry. How is that relevant? Would you just address what I just said? That in a
I
more
am
aggressive
addressing what you
time,
said because I didn't just.
2008,
You said how could it do that when there was a black man, and I asked you who are the only two people that Donald Trump ever beat in an election.
Hillary Clinton and Kamala. Well, I don't know. I don't really know that you could say he just beat Kamala Harris because he was on track to beat Joe too.
He
after the
literally
debate.
only beat the two women to have ever
Right,
run
yeah,
on major party
technically,
tickets. On major party tickets in the history of the United States. If you are going to tell
Yeah.
me that he won against a woman, then ran against a man and got his ass kicked, and then ran against a woman and then lost again, okay, and you're going to tell me that gender had nothing to do with it, then I'm sorry, I think that's just being a little ignorant.
Well, like I said, he was on track. He was polling to beat Biden by a landslide after the debate,
And Hillary Clinton
Again,
was
we
polling,
don't know what
and Hillary Clinton was
Yeah,
polling
yeah.
to
Oh,
beat
yeah, we
Donald
know
Trump
that- we
by a
know that
landslide
polling-
in 2016.
Right. We don't know that. We know that polling is not 100% reliable, of course. Yeah, but I'm going to say that given not just election polling, but all polling, questionnaire polling about how people feel about the economy, he was gonna beat Biden anyways. I mean, you can argue. I mean, and I don't know that, but I feel like that was probably the case. And and I'm
He
not
was
going to
actually
argue
getting
that
his
Trump
ass.
was-
He was actually getting his ass whooped by Biden until that freaking debate. Funny enough,
Right,
If you
the
act-
debate, that's
but-
it. Yeah,
but-
I'm not
but
going to argue
sir,
that
but-
either.
but
Yeah,
again, that had-
Biden was
but-
performing really well
but,
until the
sir,
debate, and that's where
but,
it
sir,
went downhill.
That shows you that it wasn't.
And I don't think he could have recovered.
Sir, that shows you that it had nothing to do with Joe Biden's policies or Donald Trump's policies. You're saying that they didn't perform well enough in order to actually win the election. When actually, if you base it off of their policies, right? If you actually based off the policies of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's policies whooped the shit out of Donald Trump. It was his age and his
Policy isn't the only thing that matters, though.
Sir, it was his age and his cognitive decline. All right, that was what hurt Joe
Which
Biden.
is the most important aspect of the job. You
well,
know,
obviously not.
policy is,
Well,
is not the only
if it was the
only
most,
thing that matters.
if it's the most important part of the job, Kamala Harris is a lot more freaking cognitively sharp than Donald Trump is by a long shot.
What evidence do you have of that?
Yeah, literally anytime Donald Trump speaks is my evidence of that.
I mean, you might think he's like irrational and delusional, but as far as like, is it because of his age or cognition? No, it's because he's a egomaniacal billionaire who, you know,
Gotcha.
has lived
So
the
he's
lifestyle,
irrational.
and that's his personality.
He's irrational and delusional by your own admittance, yet you can't understand why he is not in cognitive decline.
Well, yeah, I mean, aren't all
He
rich
literally
and
could not
celebrity
pronounce
people
freaking
irrational and
Tylenol
delusional
on
compared to
television,
most of
saying
us?
that it caused autism. He just got on the stage of the UN General Council and complained about a teleprompter and an escalator. He couldn't walk in a straight line when he went to go meet Putin. He literally gets, like, his Truth Social is just fucking just absolute rubbish and fucking disgust. Right.
Again, I'm not saying you have to agree. I mean, you might disagree. You might have dissent with whatever he's saying, his message, his beliefs. But you can't say that makes him irrational, like in the sense of
You said he was irrational, not me.
cognitive irrationality.
Yes,
he
I can.
has the irrationality in the sense of like he's a billionaire, and he doesn't have the same rationale that most people have.
No, I
But
hear
that's the same
billionaires
of
talk all the time. I hear Mark Cuban talk all the time. Mark Cuban's a billionaire, very cognitive,
Right. Well,
very rational. Bill Gates is also like that.
Does Mark Cuban go post up at McDonald's and eat a burger? No. I'm saying that he has the irrational, unrealistic expectations in life that come with the privilege of money, like most billionaires have. That's what I'm saying. He's lived a very luxurious lifestyle.
Sir,
and listen, I'm not
you
one
are
of
pretzeling your way into this, and it's sad now.
Let me add one thing real quick.
Sir, you said you were adding one thing and leaving like 10 minutes ago, and I was kind of looking forward to that.
I hate to walk away from a good
like
conversation.
now we're just
you may not be
enjoying
it, but I'm enjoying it.
Well, no, we're just spinning in circles now, sir, because I've come to the conclusion that no matter what I say, even no matter what you say, okay, you're going to try to
neither
figure
of
out
us are going to change.
No, it's not a matter of changing. You said that he was irrational, right? And then 30 seconds later, you said, "Well, he's not irrational." I said it. ID wasn't even the one that said it. You said it, right?
Right, but context matters. Context matters, right?
You actually in-depth explained to me about his immigration policy and how he was the one who stopped the immigration policy, and then how you support him because of immigration, even though it doesn't affect you, sir. It's very disingenuous, right? And I understand that it must be very, very difficult to defend Trump with the things he's saying and the things that he's doing. I understand it must be like super, super difficult, and your attempt to do that, right, makes you sound like a little crazy. All right. But
okay, well, listen, that's fine. Listen, it's mostly a lack of time. Otherwise, I enjoy talking, even if we aren't going to agree or whatever. I enjoy talking, and if you would give me less interrupted time to speak, I could get my points across a little bit better. And if you would give me the virtue of context, yeah, I said irrational in the context of how billionaires are somewhat irrational, and people in positions of power.
I think it's time for me to move on. And I think it's time for you to go hang out with your family. Okay? Yeah, have a good one.
Sure. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
Woof. Yeah, go hang out with your family, man. It ain't that serious. Mystic, a member for a whole month. Check that out. Hey, Mystic, how are you doing? All right, we're about to move on to the next caller. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. That was just kind of going in circles at that point, and I didn't want to continue it. Brad says, I'm doing all right. Hope you're good, man. Thanks a lot, Brad. I really appreciate that. Brad the Pagan also said, okay, I'll be back in a bit. I got to help my mother prepare for the hurricane coming our way. Hold on, where's there a hurricane? I didn't hear anything about a hurricane. Please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Guys, give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Let's keep this thing going, keep this thing moving. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
18.
What year were you born?
2007.
Yeah, you stumbled too much. I don't believe you. All right, we're gonna keep this thing going. I really thank you guys so much for being here. That was way too much stumbling. I just didn't believe it. Yeah. I already got lied to about someone's age already once today. I don't think I'm gonna go for another one. All right, well, I got no one in my TikTok guest request box, and then we'll see. Oh, shoot. Kevin, thank you so much for the $5 over on Cash App. I really appreciate that. Said, please consider running for office. I may one day. That does sound kind of fun. Hello, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Actually, no. I just wanted to come on and thank you for having these conversations.
Oh,
There's a
thank
lot
you.
of people who are afraid to change their mind, And I kind of get it because there's a lot of masculinity wrapped up in being a Republican. It's hard to admit, but they only have issues. I don't have a solution that they've offered.
Well, yeah, but I guess they've pretty much been convinced that their issue and their fix to it is Trump, but it's just not going very well for them.
Well, they haven't actually defined their issue. They say it's immigration, but they're not addressing the core, which is the immigration policy that allows people to come in legally. Republicans tend to agree that they don't mind legal immigrants. Their issue is illegal ones, but they don't fix the fucking problem of making it legal.
Right. Exactly. The problem is legality, but they don't, instead of being worried about the fact that we have an issue with our legal immigration process, they're like, oh, I guess the answer is to try to deport all of them, which just is not a logical answer in any way, shape, or form. But I do appreciate you coming up. All right. I hope you have a good one.
Yeah, you do the same, man.
All right. Bye. All right. We'll see if we get another call. I did get a little caller in between there. We'll see if we get another caller soon. If not, I'll just call today. It's not a big deal. Y'all, please, yeah, make sure you're chatting in the live, supporting the live. I really appreciate you all. If you do support Trump, please consider calling in and having a conversation. And also, if you'd like to support the live, becoming a member or sending super chats or helping me with my live goal are all really helpful. I also have my pay links in my bio. So thank you guys so much. Hello, how are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I was just watching you on YouTube.
Yeah, how old are you?
35.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yes.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
I was just wondering, because I was listening to the last caller, and you were saying what vice presidents are supposed to be doing. Well, here's one big thing that she was supposed to do, and she didn't do, was border czar.
She was not the border czar.
Which meaning she was the border czar, and you can see it throughout the whole time that she was in the VP. She was running, and they specified it that she was a border czar.
Yeah,
they gave her that position at the beginning, and she just ran.
All right, sir,
with it.
please stop crashing out. Can you please show me anywhere a singular piece of evidence where Biden called her the border czar, appointed her the border czar?
Yeah, all you have to do is go back at the beginning of the presidency, and you'll find multiple clips and videos of them appointing her as the border czar.
Well, cool. Then where can I find one? Because I have looked at all of those clips, and I have not seen it happen one time.
Well, then you need to go do a little better digging because it's there. Because I promise you, if I look for 2 minutes, I can find it. I'm on the phone right now that I would look.
I mean, I'll give you time if you want because I have been doing this for 2 years. Okay, hold on, sir. I have been doing this for 2 years. Okay.
2 years.
Yeah, and since this whole thing, for over about a year and a half, I have had people like you come up and tell me that Kamala Harris was the border czar. Okay.
Well, she was.
And not one person in over a year and a half has ever showed me one piece of evidence where Biden appointed her the border czar.
Okay, well, that I mean, you probably wouldn't find it on YouTube because they censor everything. So, but you can go on Rumble, and Rumble you will find multiple interviews and multiple people talking about her part as being border czar and her not visiting the border once.
Sir, you were
Not
talking
even
about,
once
sir,
until the very end.
sir. I didn't argue that whether she went to the border or not. I'm arguing whether she's a border czar now. So what I have, sir, hold on, sir, hold on. So what I have on the screen right here is an article, okay, from Time Magazine. You familiar with Time Magazine?
Yeah, I don't really.
Okay. Well, what it says on the big headline is Kamala Harris was never Biden's border czar. Here's what she really did. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that this is perfect evidence of anything. All right. But what I do have, okay, is nothing ever showing that Biden ever called her the border czar or appointed her the border czar. Now, was she given a piece of immigration to work on? Yes, she was.
And
okay.
yes.
But that doesn't make her the border czar. That just means that she was tasked with a piece of immigration. And I can tell you which piece of immigration she was actually tasked with.
Yeah, well, that's fine, because regardless to whatever, you can put any piece of legislation and say that it was good, but we all seen firsthand, and I don't know what part of the United States you live in, but I live in Miami, Florida.
So nowhere near the southern border.
No, but guess what? We are flooded with what you guys call migrants, okay? We're flooded. Miami.
What the word means, sir? I don't want to, sir. I don't want to go to your
migrants,
sir.
Sir, I'm saying migrants, sir. I'm saying migrants.
No. I'm not saying what you're saying. What I'm saying is, I don't really want to hear about your whole anecdotal story. What I'm saying is, okay, is that Kamala Harris was.
You don't want to hear what it's the cause.
Sir, I also live in Florida. Okay.
Oh, what part of Florida do you live in?
I live in more northern Florida. All right.
Okay.
All right, perfect. But none of that has to do with that Kamala Harris was not the border czar. Okay.
Okay.
What her job was.
No matter how many times you try to say that.
Sir, I'm trying to explain it to you. Okay. What Kamala Harris's job was. Okay, she was given the task of restabilizing the Northern Triangle in order to reduce asylum seeking from those countries. Okay, she was not in charge of the southern border. She was in charge of that specific part of immigration. All right, which she did. She did very well.
Very well. I can see it. I literally see it on my streets every single day. They're running up and down, and there's lawlessness going on, and you don't know who's who.
It's insane.
That's what it is. That's what it's like.
So you're right. You don't know who's who. Sir, you're right. You don't know. Sir, you don't know who's who.
So on the street.
Sir, if you don't know who's who, then how do you know they're undocumented immigrants?
Well, one thing, let me tell you something, bro. I'm Spanish, okay, but I was born in this country, okay. So I know an undocumented when I see one.
Oh, what does an undocumented look like?
No. Simple. Oye, mi hermano, yo hablo español, no hablo inglés. Yo llegué aquí ayer. That's saying I got here yesterday. I don't speak any English.
And how do you know they, sir, just because someone got here yesterday doesn't make them illegal.
Well, when they tell you themselves that they just got here through the border, the southern border,
gotcha.
Which a lot of them tell you.
Gotcha. So you're walking down the street and people are just yelling at you, "Hi, I'm an undocumented," and they're just yelling at you.
You speak Spanish,
sir, I need you to let me finish my sentence. Awesome. So what you're doing is you're just walking down the street, and as you're walking down the street, all of these people are just yelling at you, "I'm here illegally. I just got here yesterday and I'm here illegally." And it's like every single one. There's like so many, you don't even get to walk down the street.
Did I say that?
Yes,
No.
essentially you did.
Yeah, no. The people do talk to me when they ask me, "Hey, do you know where this is? Do you know where that is?" And I'll ask them, "Oh, did you just get here? You don't know this area? Oh, did you just get here? Yeah, I just got here recently, stuff like that." Or I'll hear conversations of them talking because I speak the Spanish language, and I can hear that they just recently got here. It's not rocket science.
Sir, again, just because someone just recently got there does not make them here illegally.
But according to you, Kamala Harris wasn't the border czar.
She
According
wasn't.
to you,
What does
that's
those are
yours.
two
That's
complete,
yours.
sir? Those
That's
are
your
two
theory,
complete.
man.
That's
your
not a theory.
and
That's a fact,
That's a lie, man. That's a lie.
sir.
And I
Okay,
hope
awesome.
anybody
Then
that's
I will let
watching does
you.
not take you serious.
Okay, well then how about this? I'll just sit here and I'll read some super chats. I'll give you. You said you can pull it up in 2 minutes, so I'll give you 2 minutes to show me a source that shows that Kamala Harris was the border czar. All right, since you can find it in 2 minutes and it's super easy. All right, please
Like I
show
said,
me.
I'm
then
on
flip
the
away
phone
from it.
that I would look it up.
Then flip away from it. I'll let you be quiet. You can be nice and quiet for 2 minutes while you go find it real quick. Okay. I would advise something not on Rumble. Okay, and maybe
So
something with an actual.
Why not on Rumble? Why
Because
not
I
on
like
Rumble?
things that
Because
actually.
Rumble is uncensored. Because Rumble is uncensored like YouTube.
Correct, sir. If it's uncensored, then it doesn't have to be factual.
Well, it is factual. That's the problem.
How do you
just
know
don't
it's
wanna-
factual?
They take it because your fact checkers, your fact checkers lie all the time, and you can find the evidence on Rumble that the lies are on your side most of the time, buddy. That's why people went to Rumble, because there's no censoring. There's no censoring. That's why.
Sir,
people
you
go
are
to
doing
Rumble.
a great job in proving that Rumble should probably be taken offline.
Oh, you're doing a great job in proving that the censorship is real. And if you can say stuff and keep saying things that are not true, and it doesn't make it true. Like what
You're
keep
right, sir.
that
Saying
Kamala
things.
Harris wasn't the border czar. That
Sir, you're
right
right.
there
Saying
is a
things.
straight up lie.
You're right, sir. Saying
Straight up
things,
lie.
sir. Saying things does not make them true. That's why I pulled
Exactly.
up. That's why
I'm telling you
That's
that.
why I pulled up stuff and put it on the
And you
screen
pulled
to
up-
show you.
You pulled
Okay.
up Propaganda News Network from New York Times, which everybody knows that has an ounce of actual, that knows what real news is, would not look at something like New York Times or CNN or any MSNBC or any of those places, because those are all propaganda.
I didn't pull up.
That's all propaganda.
I didn't pull up any of those sources.
That's why MSNBC.
I didn't pull up in. I didn't pull
let
up.
go of. Comcast wants to sell them because
Sir.
they are falling.
Sir, I didn't pull up any of those sources.
Well, you said New York Times.
I did not.
Oh, now which one is it now?
No, I
Which one
said
did you say?
Time.
Okay. Yeah. Again, you keep proving my point. That's not real news.
I said Time, like Time
Exactly.
magazine.
That's not
Okay.
real news. And everybody who knows anything knows
Gotcha.
that
So
you've
Time.
been doing this
So
for
hold on.
years.
Hold on.
Hey,
Let me
listen,
be clear. Let me be
You've
clear.
been
Let me
doing
get
this
this
for
clear.
2
Hold on.
years.
I'm just.
You
I need
told
to
me,
ask you a
right?
question. I need to ask you a
Hold
question.
on, hold on.
No,
Let
no.
me-
You
let-
hold
let me-
on.
let me
No,
finish
you
saying-
hold on. I have to ask you a question. Gotcha. So Time, the New York Times, CNN,
Yes.
and MSNBC, all completely wrong.
Propaganda news.
Rumble, 100% right.
No, I'm not going to say everything on Rumble is 100% right.
Oh, then how do you
But
know what is
obviously,
right
if
and what's
anybody,
wrong?
Anybody, but you can see official clips from even CNN
Official clips?
and MSNBC, official clips that were played back then before they censored it, that they called her the border czar.
Oh, so CNN, all these people reported on it.
That's called censorship.
So they
Free,
reported
that's
on
called
it, and
censorship.
then it went away, and it's only on Rumble.
Well, there's a lot of things that they have done that was in the past. Believe me. Listen, you've been doing this for 2 years. I've been doing this for 25. So you're a rookie.
You've been doing what for 25?
I've been doing research on political. I've been into the political things for 25 years.
Sir, I just said
You're
I've been
getting
on.
into this.
I've been on
You're a
this for
rookie,
2
man.
years. Yeah,
Wait,
sir.
that's
Let me ask you a
cool.
question.
That's
So, do you know
nowhere
what?
near the level
Do
that
you
I'm
know
at.
what it, sir? Do you know what since you've been studying all this politics for 25 years? Do you know what an impeachment
sure.
is?
Oh yeah, the fake impeachment that they put Trump under.
No, that's not what I was
That
talking
they-
about at all. Actually,
Oh,
I asked you if you
so
knew
then
what an
tell me.
impeachment was.
Yes, I know when a president gets impeached. Yes.
No. I'm not talking about a presidential impeachment. I said an impeachment. Why are you trying to put words in my mouth?
Who
I
gets
said,
impeached?
do you know what an impeachment is? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, what is an impeachment?
when someone commits a crime, you impeach them. If they're in a presidential office.
Okay, well, that is not exactly correct. Okay, you can be impeached without committing an actual formal crime, and you don't have to be president in order to be impeached.
Well, you can be in other parts of office too. You know,
Correct. So the Republicans, a couple years ago, they were really, really mad in the House of Representatives. Okay, they were really, really angry. Okay, about how bad the southern border was. All right. And so they decided hold on, sir. I promise you I will give you plenty of time to respond to what I'm saying as soon as I'm done. But I need you to listen. Okay? All right, awesome. So they were really, really mad about the southern border in the House of Representatives. Okay? And they wanted to impeach someone over the southern border. All right? So when they decided that they were going to impeach someone over the southern border, why do you think they didn't choose Kamala Harris if she was the border czar?
For the same reason that they didn't arrest Hillary Clinton for the emails.
Hold on, but they did impeach someone, sir. They did impeach someone. They impeached Secretary Mayorkas.
Right, and
now why do you think they impeached Secretary Mayorkas? Okay, instead of Kamala Harris. Why do you think that?
Because she was Secretary Mayorkas was not someone they were contending to run for president.
No, that doesn't make any sense, sir. If they thought she was going to contend to run for president, that would be more of a reason to impeach her. No. Why do you think when it came to things that were specifically about the border, okay, they impeached First of all, do you know who Secretary Mayorkas is?
Honestly, right now, at this very moment, no, I don't know who Secretary Mayorkas is.
Well, Secretary Mayorkas, I just assumed you knew because for 25 years you've been studying all of these political things. You know what I'm saying? So I just assumed. Sorry, I just assumed. That's on me. Okay. Hold on. Let me tell you.
You're covering just one argument. I can cover a vast span of arguments.
Sir, I understand that you want to jump onto a vast span of arguments because even the slightest bit of scrutiny in any point of your arguments shows that you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, then keep on. But
sir. I'm trying to, but you just keep talking. Sir, I'm trying.
Anybody that's watching,
sir,
go to Rumble.
Okay. Sir, you're hollering in the middle of my point. Okay. So the reason,
listen.
Sir, Secretary Mayorkas,
and I'm gonna tell you like this. Listen,
sir, if you don't be quiet, I will mute you.
Okay, well then, no. Listen, I was about to tell you.
I don't want you to. I don't want you to tell me anything. I want you to be quiet.
Okay,
awesome.
Well,
so Secretary Mayorkas, sir, if you'd actually listen, you'd probably learn something. Okay, we wouldn't want that to happen on accident. We wouldn't want that to happen on accident. Okay.
Well, I mean, but if you
listen, you might accidentally learn something.
But everything that you're telling people is literally brainwashing information.
I'm just trying to tell you who Secretary Mayorkas is.
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell me who Secretary Mayorkas is.
So Secretary Mayorkas was the Secretary of Homeland Security. Okay, and do you know what the Secretary of Homeland Security's job is?
To protect the border.
Good job. The Secretary of Homeland Security's job is to protect the border. Okay, so why?
Border Patrol.
So why
did they tell Border Patrol to stand down during the 4 years of Biden?
Listen.
Huh?
So why would we need to assign Kamala Harris to do the job when somebody already has the job?
Because that was her only project. That was her project to take care of the border.
Yeah,
listen, buddy, you can lie all you want, but it doesn't make it true.
All right, sir. I can tell that intelligence has failed us in this conversation. Okay,
it's definitely
and
not in
you have nothing of intelligence to add to this. Okay, so just to let you know, I'm just saying goodbye to you. You're already muted, and nobody can hear you. Okay. So I'm just letting you know on the way out the door to have a wonderful day, okay? Oh, he hung up when he found out he couldn't yell anymore. Anyways, y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And please come on in. As you guys are coming in, please participate in the live. Help me out with the live gift goals. Make sure you chat in the live. I really, really appreciate that. And if you would like to support the live, I do have super chats and all that fun stuff going on. And my pay links are in my bio. So if you'd like to support, that's a great way to do that. So thank you guys so much. We are going to hit a few super chats before we go to the next caller. Spider, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, bro, you got to do some interviews with some bleed hearts like us. I bet that'll be some good content. Also, have you heard of the Majority Report? I have heard of the Majority Report. I am going to do interviews. I want to do interviews with Ari, but we just haven't had enough time lately to actually get it going. So, but I do want to do that. I want to do that very, very soon. So hopefully get a chance to very soon. Thank you so much, Spider. And Spencer, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said, Paulie, you probably didn't hear anything about a hurricane because of the cuts to National Weather Service. Great job, MAGA cultists. That's valid. That is 100% valid. My bad. Literally, where's the hurricane hitting? I'm in Hurricane Alley. Where's this hurricane hitting? I literally have no idea. Normally, I'd know about this stuff. Thank you so much, Spencer. Vibe, thank you so much for the 10 jewels. Adventures with Josh, thank you so much for the 900 jewels. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sister Mary, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. W's the chat for Sister Mary and all the people who just supported Spider, Spencer, and Adventures. Thank you guys so much. Spencer also with the $5 says, I'm here illegally. Que pera. I'm here illegally, guys. Come talk to me. I'm here illegally. Guys, hey, sir, walking down the street. Hey, you over there. Hey, I'm here illegally. I just wanted to let you know. I know I don't know you. Okay, I know I don't know you and we're living in Trump's America, but I just wanted to let you, random person, know, all right, that I'm here and I'm here illegally. All right? You guys got to know that. All right? I want everybody to know. The amount of people who have come up on this live and told me that people that are here illegally are just coming up and telling them that they're illegal is wild. It's really, really crazy. Thank you so much, Spencer. I appreciate that. Oh, I get it all the time. It's so funny. And El Cato, thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate that also. Thank you so much. Oh, let me leave that up a little bit longer. Oh, with the cat too. That's cute. Anyways. All right, let's open up these phone lines. Let's see if we can get one or two more in here as we keep this thing going. Y'all make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And thank you guys. Big W's to Chef for all the support. I also saw, hold on. I must have missed something too. I must have missed it going through this list. Hold on.
It's insane.
Because somebody definitely sent gifteds. I saw it. Where is it? Spencer, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships on YouTube. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Again, big W's to chat for Spencer for those 5 gifteds and an extra W in there. If you got one of those gifteds too, thank you so much. I almost missed that, Spencer. I'm so sorry. I did see it. So thank you so much for the 5 gifteds. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 16 years old, sir.
All right. Sorry, man. You got to be at least 18 to be up on the live. I do apologize for that. Jen, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, I don't know how you keep such composure and not scream at guests to shut the fuck up because we all are. Oh, happy Saturday, Polly. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
I'm good. All right. So what do you want
Awesome.
to discuss?
I'm already in disgust, to be completely honest with you. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, what are you disgusted about?
All right. So listen to this. I've heard your show and I've heard you talk about tariffs. I feel like you have a misconception about the value that tariffs bring to the economy.
I don't.
Okay. Okay. So you say that tariffs have this effect where we're losing productivity relative to other countries. Now tell me why you think that.
I never said that.
Why do you think that tariffs hurt us?
Not all tariffs hurt us. There's actually very good reason to use tariffs on lots of different circumstances.
Right, like Biden's tariffs. Do you think those were good?
I think that some of the ones he did were good and some of the ones he did weren't good.
Why are they not good?
Which ones?
like as a whole, do you think that the tariffs were a positive or negative influence?
There,
Because here's the way I see it.
that's an impossible question to answer because I don't believe that all tariffs are good and I don't believe that all tariffs are bad. I believe that there is a correct use of tariffs and there is a non-correct use of tariffs. And when used correctly, they are a very, very valuable tool that our government uses in order to isolate American industries, in order to make sure that we have production to actually help our economy. And then there's a bad use of tariffs, okay, similar to, especially when it comes to broad tariffs, that very much hurt our economy.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is, I think that before the 1980s, we had a strongly tariff-based economy. We tore down those tariffs in the name of free trade, and ever since, the American workers just been getting fucked by big business. Fucked every day. Really. I can support the Democrats on welfare. I don't think that the big, beautiful bill is good, but at the end of the day, I feel like the Democrats are becoming a more neoliberal party, while Trump's putting in pro-family and pro-worker policies such as tariffs that support the working man. For example, these manufacturing tariffs. Sure, maybe we can't produce that stuff in America now, but if we keep pushing with this tariff policy, eventually we're going to get to that point. And we can't say that it's never going to happen. If we say it's never going to happen, we're never going to try. We're never going to bring these jobs back. You know, for example, Trump won the election in 2016. Why? Because he won the blue wall where the manufacturing jobs are. He won that because people are upset with the establishment. They don't like Romney. They don't like the former Republicans. They want someone who's going to bring American manufacturing job, and Trump's done that.
Oh, okay. First of all, 1980s is a ridiculous year to throw out there to say that's when we left a tariff-based economy. We left a tariff-based economy 60, 70 years prior to that. All right. And the reason why we left a tariff-based economy is because we needed stability within our tax system. It wasn't in order to promote free trade, though free trade was promoted through it, right? What we had was a tariff-based system, and our tariff created inconsistent income for the United States government, which didn't allow us to plan specifically ahead of time for what we were going to do. As industries came and as industries left, right, so did our tariffs, right?
Yes,
So
but
that's why
tariffs
we
are
left
not-
that, because we needed actually a
tariffs
consistent
are
thing.
an income source.
Sir, I let you go on for incredibly too long. Yeah. So yeah, awesome. So that is not why we left a tariff-based economy. Now, we also left a tariff-based economy because it was hurting consumers, right? Because we needed to be able to have because consumers needed to be able to have a more consistent ability to pay taxes without it varying depending on what tariff policies change or where we were getting things and all sorts of like that. So it was bad for American citizens, which is why we left a tariff-based economy. But let's be very clear, Donald Trump isn't heading towards a tariff-based economy. Donald Trump has not even claimed that he's headed towards a tariff-based economy. Donald Trump is saying he's using tariffs for two different things. One, he's saying he's using it in order to bring manufacturing back, and then at the same time he's saying he's using tariffs in order to create better trade deals with other countries, which is the exact opposite of bringing manufacturing back to the United States. Okay, because you can't have both. Okay, so neither of those are pro-worker, neither of those are pro-consumer. What they are is an income or a sales tax on the United States, and he's using that in order to do things like give giant corporate tax cuts and also to add money into his, like sovereign wealth fund in order to put money into his own pocket. That's where that tariff is coming from, because it's sure as hell not going into anything that actually benefits our society, doesn't benefit our economy, and it's not helping anything, because if that was the case, we would be more stable right now, and we're less stable right now. And every time Donald Trump adds a new tariff, we become less stable. All right. So again, I am not saying that tariffs are bad. The Biden's tariffs, like specifically when it came to like extending his tariffs on China, I thought that those were not good. I think he actually absolutely should have isolated some of those tariffs that were really important to China, and then he should have released other tariffs that were less important to encourage free trade with those countries, specifically to help our farmers and our export systems within the United States. And I also believe that things like, his EV tariffs under the Chips and Sciences Act was an important tariff and helped our auto manufacturing industry. I think for some reason that people seem to like have this thought process, and you're one of them because you came up here and made that claim immediately, that for some reason, because I say Trump's tariffs are bad, that tariffs are bad. That's not what I mean at all. Tariffs can be very, very good. Trump's tariffs are bad because he's doing things like tariffing trading partners. He's tariffing people to a deficit that we don't even have a deficit with. He's tariffing countries that don't have that don't have people on them, that only have penguins, or that just have military bases on them. The only positive effect that it could have is I guess it could possibly produce some type of trade deal, but it's not doing that because, again, he's tariffing everybody, so it doesn't give any incentive for that trade deal, and it doesn't have the ability to bring manufacturing back because we don't have the ability to produce those things. So it only hurts the consumer. There is no positive. If he was just doing tariffs against a certain company, a certain country, or a certain isolated group of industry, then the tariffs wouldn't be a complaint.
Okay, that's fair. Two things about that. First of all, you say the American consumer, but every American consumer is also an American worker. But who consumes more? Like tariffs hurt people who will consume the most foreign-made goods. We've basically made ourselves dependent on foreign-made goods at the cost of American jobs. Tariffs ship manufacturing jobs overseas, and we trade them for service jobs. You know, the rich who can pay for these products, they get cheap shit. Amazon, everything. And sure, we've gotten that. But is that really worth the rewarding jobs? We've decimated the ability for the American worker to have a single family, to have a single parent household for these free trade agreements. Now, the second thing is, I think that it's fair that the tariff policy is a little bit chaotic. You know, I can agree with that. And I support the CHIPS Act. I support Biden's industrial policy. But I think that you have to think bigger about tariffs. You have to have a Trump-style tariff policy combined with some sort of like Biden industrial policy. By the way, there's Republicans pushing for this. Mike DeWine of Iowa pushes for this. And of course, he's not Trump, and we're talking about Trump. But there is this current in the Republican
I don't even really
Party.
understand what you're going off on this point. What was your first point again? Because I forgot about it already.
My point is that every American
your first
worker is
Yeah, okay, guy, yeah. Every American
Yeah.
every American citizen person is an American worker, yeah, but every American worker is also an American consumer. All right. And you're not even talking about the fact that every American worker is also affected by these tariffs, right? Like look at the we'll just stay on the auto industry just for an example of what I'm talking about. A lot of Americans work in factories that produce cars in the United States. Well, now those cars are more expensive because those cars, even though they're made in the United States by American-made companies, the parts that go into those cars are affected by Donald Trump's tariffs, especially the ones that have to do with Canada and Mexico, because certain parts are like made in the United States and then sent over to be combined with another part in Canada and then sent back over here to be combined with another part and then sent over to Mexico to be combined with a part and then brought back to the United States before they're actually assembled into the car. Now, every single one of those parts now, every time it moves to those factories is now having to experience a tariff, which means that we produce less cars because we don't have the ability to create as many cars based off the extra cost of them because people are buying less cars because the price of cars is going up. Not to mention the fact that people are being affected by their pockets across the inflation of all the tariffs. So now they're buying cars less frequently. So now those American workers that actually build those cars, American-made cars, like say Chevy, for example, right? Now there's less cars to produce. So now those Americans have less jobs and now they're working less. All right. So not only are they working less, so we need less workers to produce those cars, but their dollar goes less far, so people can't buy the cars. So now they're affected both as far as a work standpoint and as far as a spending standpoint, right? So it's because people for some reason it's making this again, and like I'm really not trying to be a dick when I say this, but it's like people think that for some reason American made thinks completely American made, right? Like t-shirts, right? If you make a t-shirt, most of the time you're making that t-shirt. But if you were to make that t-shirt in the United States, if we don't have the resources in the United States in order to make that t-shirt, right? If we need to import the fabric in order to make shirts, then guess what? That American company that is manufacturing that shirt completely in the United States, making it from American citizens, still has to pay the tariff from the natural resources that are coming in to make the shirt from places like China. So even if it was completely made in the United States, we don't have the natural resources in order to do it. So it would still be affected, which means we'd be able to make less shirts. So we'd have less workers making those shirts and people would still have to pay more of them, which means that the spending is still higher, right? The reason why free trade is important is because we live in a global society. We don't live isolationalist, right? We became a global society, like, a global economy a long time ago, right? And we're not going back. I'm letting you know that right now, right? If that's the idea is that we're going to leave globalism, it's not going to happen. All right. And even the idea that we're even going to try to do that is just, it would be so bad for us. Even if we did try to do it, like we would end up crashing the US economy before we saw any benefit of it.
No, okay, I disagree. In the short term, there would be pains, but in the long term, it's something that we need to do. You say we don't have the raw materials to make these things. We shouldn't be trying to manufacture T-shirts here, but certain things, it's true. We can start with cars. We can start with computers. There's no reason that these things should be produced in China, countries that are accessories to China like Vietnam. It's a national security risk. And think about this, in defense, we use computers everywhere. We use chips everywhere. These things need to be American made. If there's no natural resource, that's a different question right there. But at the end of the day, we're losing the production capacity to make these. In World War II, we did so well because we had steel plants. We had our own homegrown defense industry, and we're losing these things. We're losing them in favor of a service economy, which is much less lucrative. I think,
It's
the fact that you say...
I don't mean to cut you off, but it is funny, the two industries that you decided to claim to talk about.
Why?
Because those are the two industries that Biden tariffed in order to bring that manufacturing back to the United States.
Yeah, and Joe Biden did a good job there.
Right, but those are the tariffs I agree with. You're right. We did need to isolate for tariffs for national security. That's what the entire Chips and Sciences Act was. That's what it was. It was tariffing other countries and subsidizing our own companies to build those chips in the United States because we realized we needed an isolation from that. Now those chips are now being sold to other countries, jeopardizing our national security by Donald Trump. And the chips, and isolating U.S. manufacturers from outside EVs. That's what Joe Biden did. Again, sir, certain tariffs are good.
Mm-hmm.
Picking out two industries in which tariffs are good and we should have tariffs on them doesn't prove your point. I'm not arguing that all tariffs are bad. I'm arguing that Donald Trump's tariffs are bad. So let's stop talking about cars and chips. Explain to me how tariffing your H&M t-shirts is good.
Okay, I'll give you this. Okay, I think that there's 4 pillars that can make today's America strong. The first is protectionism. Protectionism will increase the wages of the American worker, not in the short term. In the short term, it may hurt, it may be painful, but in the long term, it's going to create manufacturing jobs here, the kind of jobs we want. The second is immigration restrictionism. We can't be competing against third world peasants, especially our working class. Also our tech professionals really can't be competing against foreign nationals. And by the way, this may not make America, this is not necessarily American business first, but it's American worker first, okay? The third is we have to promote single parent households. The loss of the single parent household is a disaster in working class communities, unmitigated disaster. I mean, really, kids are being raised without dads. It's awful for poor people. Marriage is now an institution for the hyper rich. And this is because the working class is getting fucked in this country. Women are getting sent to meaningless jobs that we've created just for this service-based economy. We're just churning and churning and churning nothing. Now, these 3 pillars, there may be some economic hurt because we're decreasing our workforce by not bringing in immigrants. We're kind of losing certain advantages that we had by producing things here that could be produced cheaper elsewhere. We're creating some deadweight loss. But in the long term, the American middle class worker is going to benefit. Do you agree?
Well, first of all, that's a beautiful script that you read. Okay, that is a beautiful script that you read. Okay, it sounds like you typed in how to argue this point like Stephen Miller on Grok. I'm just saying, that's what it sounds like to me, because like your argument is just isolationism with more words, right? You're talking about the restriction of immigration. You're talking about protectionism,
Yes, but
these things don't help us because I've already argued these points. You're just arguing them with other words, right? Like I've already argued against protectionism, and while we do need some sorts of protectionism, again, some sorts of protectionism are good. Okay, Donald Trump's policies don't protect that. Okay, when it comes to immigration and taking the job, they took our jobs, South Park style, right? Like when it comes to taking our jobs, that's not what's happening. All right. We know that you first of all, the word of peasants is a wild word, right? But the lower class of immigrants that we have, right, actually provide a very important part of our economy. It provides a job. Sorry, how do I say it? it provides a boost to our economy by taking jobs that American citizens normally don't want to do and don't have to do and just simply aren't part of American culture anymore. And when we actually look at the job numbers, we have about the same amount of people that we have that are unemployed as people that are looking for jobs right now. We have enough jobs for the people in the United States already. So if we were to get rid of immigrants, what we're doing is we're creating a scenario where there are more jobs in the United States than there are people to work those jobs, which you could use to say like, hey, we now can increase like that drives up, like wages for American workers in certain ways. Yeah, that's possible. But what does that job wage increase actually do? Well, it increases prices. It then becomes inflationary, which then again, takes money out of people's pockets, right? Do we need to restrict imports? We need to restrict imports on certain things. Yes, I've already agreed with you on that. Why do we keep arguing it? Donald Trump's not restricting imports on certain things. He's restricting imports on everything. Everything. The problem with Donald Trump's tariffs are not that they're tariffs. The problems with Donald Trump's tariffs is that everybody gets a tariff like there's Oprah. Okay? Like you get a tariff. Everybody look under your chair. You get a tariff. You get a tariff. You get a tariff. Everybody gets a tariff. That's the problem. Okay? Sure. That's the issue. I don't want, if you're going to have this debate with me, and it's totally fine. Like, I understand, like, I don't know, maybe you're practicing for a college debate or something. Like, I totally get it, okay? Address the point. The point is that Donald Trump's tariffs are bad. Not the tariffs are bad. The point is that Donald Trump tariffing the herd in McDonald Island, where only penguins live, is not good American policy. Okay, tariffing China 145% while also tariffing all the other countries that compete with China is not good policy, right? Like if you want to make an argument like to say, okay, like we're trying to isolate ourselves from like slave labor in the with the Uyghurs in China. Okay, cool. Well, then Donald Trump's tariffs are still bad because all of their competitors are still being tariffed also, right? The EU tariff doesn't help American consumers, and it doesn't, like the EU trade deal doesn't help American consumers, and it doesn't help bring jobs back. The UK trade deal doesn't help spur American manufacturing, and it doesn't help it doesn't decrease costs. Both these are both inflationary for the United States. Whatever the hell he's doing with Canada and Mexico is just crazy. And now he's adding to trucks and to furniture. I think furniture is the new one, which is like wild, right? Like just crazy. There's no way that we produce the consumption amount of furniture in this country to actually keep up with the demand, right? It's not going to promote American furniture. It's just going to drive up the cost of furniture for everyone, right? Like it's Donald Trump's tariffs that I have a problem with, right? Like if you want to get into H-1B visas, dude, the reason why high level like tech jobs and stuff like that, why it's good for us to have immigrants here that are doing that is because, and let's be honest about it, okay? And let's have a real talk. Let's get off your script for a second, okay? Let's have a real talk. All right. The reason why it's so important that we have people coming over here to be doctors, tech people, like all these high jobs, the reason is because the American education system sucks ass.
Yes, but why is the solution to that to import more people instead of fix the education system? And I'll tell you this.
It's not.
I work in tech. I compete with these like hordes and hordes of H-1B people. It's insane. These companies, they hire them and they overwork them.
Oh, I agree. I agree that system is bad.
Right.
I agree that we should have better labor laws in that where that doesn't happen. I agree with that.
I'll give you this. I was kind of under a wrong impression about your tariff opinions, I kind of tend to agree with you that the tariffs right now are sweeping and they maybe go a bit like out of control. So I think that that's a fair contention, but I do agree that pairing restrictionism with immigration will help them. I mean, and look, I'm telling you, I'm not reading from a script. I'm a bit more nervous on here than I thought I'd be, but
okay,
I guess I want to talk about the dual ideas of protectionism and immigration restriction.
So when we talk about immigration restriction, okay, let's clarify very specifically, okay? Because it sounds like your immigration restrictions are specifically when it comes to high paid workers, right? Like it sounds like you're much more concerned about that than, I don't know, what's the word you used? Peasants earlier? Like that's crazy, right? Seems like you're much more concerned about that. So you're saying like, okay, then isn't the answer to fix the education system? You are 100% correct. You are 100% correct that the correct thing to do is to fix the education system, not so that we stop bringing in, like intelligent people from other countries, because again, bringing in intelligent people from other countries helps us to innovate faster. And then when we innovate faster, we keep our, hegemonic, status across the United States by being like the economic and innovative superpower across the world. Right.
Mhm.
So that's a good thing. But you're right. We should be helping our education system more. Donald Trump is literally trying to get rid of the Department of Education. Right.
Right.
He's
but the Department of Education-
literally attacking private colleges, Columbia, Harvard, right? Like he's literally attacking them for making our people smarter, right? The Republicans literally blocked student loan forgiveness from the Biden administration, a thing that would have helped to relieve people from getting a higher education and allowed more people to get higher education, right? So you're right.
to
I
some
agree.
extent.
I agree that and that's where I'll give you the dual thing.
Insane.
The dual problem is yes, our labor laws are bad when it comes to H-1B visas. Hiring on H-1B visas, overworking them and using them and using them poorly and treating them badly, horrible problem, right? Needs to be stopped. I agree with that. And also, our education system needing to be fixed, where people don't go into lifelong debt for an education system, which is honestly below par.
hmm But here's what I think about this education problem. I think that when costs started ballooning in college, that was when we started to guarantee federal student loans, right? After the Second World War with the GI Bill. I think that's really when it started ballooning out of control, because the colleges realized that they could really charge any amount of money and people will pay it. So I think that the solution is really, I'm not too big on privatizing the student loan industry, but I definitely think that there should be reforms made in the style that there were some in the Big Beautiful Bill where they capped the amount. I think those caps were a little too high, but I think that there should be. Do you agree that there should be some reform there?
Yeah, but again, your timeline is off
On what?
on when college became really unaffordable. That wasn't until like the 80s, dude.
Right. No, but I mean, it started in the 60s. It definitely like ramped up, but
Yeah, World War II ended in 1945.
well, okay, what do you think?
Yeah.
Well, no, but the GI Bill, the veterans started coming in the 50s, and they're not just going to triple or quadruple 10x prices in 1 year, right? It's going to be an overtime.
Yeah, but even
kind
the
of
GI Bill even the GI Bill back then and still to this day has restrictions, and it has an amount of money that you can spend. So actually a lot of the and I don't know if you know this or not, like, and I'm really not trying to like talk down. I'm just saying I don't know if you know this or not, but really the GI Bill doesn't even cover most colleges for veterans anymore. They have to go to schools that specifically use like I think they're called not Gold Star programs. Anyways, there's a specific name for like schools that actually have to lower their cost of their tuition specifically so that vets can use them, right? So our college has ballooned so far that college like it's way above all of that. But you're right, we do have a problem with colleges overcharging. We do have an issue with that. All right, we do have an issue, and that needs to be regulated too. There's a reason why we spend more on higher education than any other country on the planet, and our education is worse. All right, and again, this is because a lot of this is controlled in other countries by their governments, not by just. There's certain things that free market capitalism just doesn't work for. Right?
Yeah, but
education is one of them.
But right, but we had a more successful education system in the past that was private, but it got degraded over time. I mean, really, the thing is, I would attribute the raise in prices to the fact that they can charge more because they know that a student can take out any amount of money.
Well, on top of that's true, right? That they can, but also that we've made it in this country where if you don't have a degree, it's pretty much might as well be part of high school at this point. You pretty much like the degrees have become such an integral part, and back then it wasn't. Like back then, you could get a high school diploma, be a single family earner, right, and make enough money to provide for your whole family. At a factory,
right.
You had companies that actually provided pensions instead of more of the 401k issue that we have right now. Like these jobs, wanted to pay workers full time. They wanted to give them benefits. They appreciated loyalty. You could go and work at a factory for your whole life and live a very middle class life, right? And it wasn't really until later on in past that in the 80s and the 90s where we started seeing the deregulation of corporations, right? We started seeing a reduction in unionization, right? where these companies were able to just extract labor from people without providing the benefits that go along with that, right? And so the counter to that was, okay, well, high school diploma doesn't do it anymore. Now a college degree must do it, must be necessary, right? And that's, how old did you say you were? You said you were like 22, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you might not have been fed this as much as I am, even though I'm sure it still is fed. But like when I was like Yellow Ribbon program, thank you, Dancing Spider, not Gold Star. Gold Star is for families of veterans who have died. I knew it was wrong, but yeah, Yellow Ribbon programs. Anywho, yes, the college degree became a thing. Like, oh, you have to go get a college degree. You have to get a college degree. You have to get a college degree. You have to get a college degree, right? And so then the colleges started charging more. Well, now we're at a point where you get a college degree, and the college degree is like a high school diploma, right? Like you almost have to have it. So you have kids that are leaving out of high school. They're getting like these, you know, these government secured loans. But let's be clear, the government had to secure the loans because the private loan companies, the banks, were fucking over students so bad, right? That's the reason why the government had to come in and insure those loans. Because
I mean, I think that it was a positive. There was a positive intention there, but it led to a negative result in the long term. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. Like, I can agree that it did have some negatives, right? But the alternative was to allow banks to continue to keep screwing over 18-year-olds more than they already are, right? Because they're still doing it. They're just doing it less, right? There's your free market capitalism, right? But yeah, no, like we have major problems with our education system, and I just wish. We need to fix that. Like, do we have immigration problems? Yes. Is that the problems with our education system? No. Right? These are two separate problems that need to be fixed. And the tariffs don't fix any of these whatsoever. And the Trump administration really isn't trying to fix any of these issues. Like, say what you want about Biden. He did provide, he was trying to help fix our education system a bit, right? Should have done a lot more.
Right.
But he was at least giving an attempt to try to stop these predatory loans and stuff like that, right? Which is a benefit, which could help us long term. We really need to put in these social programs that every other country has figured out, and we have just for some reason not figured out in this country. But anyways, hey man,
I agree with you.
I know you do, but I do have to move on. I have to go mop my floors.
Sure.
I've been on for 3 hours. I have to go mop my floors. But anyways, it was a good conversation. All right, man. Have a good one. All right, Spencer. Sorry, that was a really funny super chat. I really appreciate that. You guys get this brand new tariff. Stacy, thank you so much for the $5. Didn't he just put 100% tariff on medications from certain countries? How is making antibiotics more expensive? America first. Yes, he did do that. And thank you so much. And Spider, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It said so-called illegals contributed $22 billion in 2022 to Social Security. My source was not Rumble, so take it with a grain of salt. Oh well, you know, if it didn't come from Rumble, I don't even know why we have it up here, Spider. To be completely honest with you, should just turn it off. I have to go, y'all. I have to go mop my floors before I get my tattoo later. So I gotta go. I love y'all though. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on at around 10 a.m. tomorrow, and I will be off before noon because the Chargers play at noon. So make sure you guys come and check me out tomorrow morning. Make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, all right? Bye. Love you.